Hey, and welcome to the Vergecast for the week of June 4th, 2012. I'm Josh Topolsky.
I'm Nilay Patel.
I'm David Pierce.
David Pierce is here with us, and also
I just had
on
that
the
ready.
big big screen up in this section, our main man from Polygon, Christopher Grant.
Hey.
He has a first and middle name, both Chris. Chris Grant. Hello,
Look how big my head is.
Christopher Grant. Yeah, it's gigantic. It's gigantic and also highly erotic.
Where are you? Where are you? That's an awesome thing behind you.
Oh, this?
happening?
Oh, it's just a little thing, a little piece called art. No big deal.
It's a little something called art. Get with it. Get used to it. Chris, thank you for joining us. Chris is in LA right now, along with the entire Polygon crew, I think, and a handful of the Verge crew as well.
You were there.
I was there. I just got back, and E3 is going on. In case you're wondering why everybody's in Los Angeles. I feel like I'm leaning forward too much for this mic. I really have mic problems. I'm sorry.
Well, you've got like the stand.
I have the stand, but still,
you always wanted.
and yet still I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
Is that surprising to anybody?
No.
Shouldn't be.
Let's talk about E3.
Not at all.
Anyhow,
What were you there for? Just our party? By the way, I saw some pictures of our party.
Oh yeah.
I'm very jealous.
Do bow.
Don't do that. Why?
Guys, we had Super Time Force.
By the way, we had Super Time Force, which is as awesome as you imagined it was going to be. If you imagine that.
Yeah.
Which I did. The party was off the chain. Do people still say that?
No.
It was off the hook.
Nope.
People still say
no,
that?
that off the chain was what came after off the hook.
The party was groovy. People say that?
That's
They
good.
definitely say that.
We
By
can
the
move
way,
on
I
with
should
that.
say this is the Vergecast where we discuss the week in technology
Is
culture.
Is it really?
And yes, if you do see a little hint of my pants, they're red. So, let loose in comments. Anyhow, the party, we threw a party on Sunday night. Why was I there?
To party.
I was there to party. No, I was at D, and then I wanted to go to E3 and do some stuff.
Yeah.
We had some meetings, which I ended up not going to. But we did have, that's not true. I went to a couple of things.
Yeah.
And
Last of Us.
I got to see, the most important thing is I got to see the Last of Us in a meeting, and it changed my life.
Yeah, I watched the. I just watched.
Changed who I was as a
I just
person.
got to watch the trailer.
I turned into a piece of broccoli.
I gotta say, the end of that trailer is.
Well, that trailer.
Really,
so what's really
really
interesting? Sorry, I don't want to jump around, but what's really interesting about that? If you haven't seen this, there was a game that Naughty Dog showed off at E3 called The Last of Us, which is coming out for the PS3. Which, by the way, is like, to me, if you don't own a PS3, this is like a title you have to buy a PS3 to play. This is from what I've seen, and they showed off this incredible demo at the Sony event, and then they were showing further demos to people, and it ended one way. In the demo they showed to the public, and then they showed lots of different things that could happen in other demos showed to the press. And it was just it's a fascinating looking game.
Let's just jump into E3.
Let's just talk about E3. Chris is here. We're already talking about it. So
Do you want to just jump right into Sony?
let's talk about tell us about what's happened at E3 this year.
So, E3. Everyone here agrees, as in the room, but also in Los Angeles, that is a slow E3.
Oh, really? Because I said that, and I thought you guys disagreed with me. I said that to the Polygon guys. I was like, this kind of feels like a slow E3, and they're like, "Oh, there's some great games. What are you talking about? How dare you?
Hold on.
You idiot!"
Okay.
I was called an idiot a number of times. It really happens a lot to me lately.
There are a lot of great games, and I think we're late in the life cycle, right? There's a lot of mature, both in terms of violence, i.e. The Last of Us, but mature also in terms of software development. A lot of mature products coming out right now, but what we don't have, there are very few products. I think there's only one I can think of definitively that's not coming out in the next 12 months. Like, everything's coming out this year,
Right.
And that
Watch Dogs.
there's a lot of opacity into the future because, I think the way I wrote about it was that there's the specter of next-gen gaming consoles looming over the whole show, and that specter means that the accompaniment to that is that next-gen software development isn't being shared, with the exception of one game, which everyone's pretty sure will come to next-gen consoles because it looks next-gen, and that's Ubisoft's Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
Did you guys watch the trailer for Watch Dogs?
I didn't.
What? Are you kidding me?
I haven't
I
seen
watched
it
the
either.
trailer
Oh,
for.
you idiots.
How many
Stupid,
murders can I
stupid
watch in
idiots.
one day, man?
No, I'm telling you, the Watch Dogs trailer. I had the experience of walking into we have a loft. That's where Chris is right now. We have a loft in downtown LA where the whole team is there. It's like the war room. And I walked in the day that during the Ubisoft event, and Watch Dogs was on. And it was like a magic.
He literally walked in and he was like, "What's this? What is this? What are you watching?
Yeah.
What is this?"
and it was a magical moment because people were like jaws on the floor. And then Polygon, jaws on the floor. And it's a crazy, you haven't seen it?
No.
It's like really.
Tell us, what is it? You just described how awesome.
It's like GTA meets Splinter Cell meets The Matrix meets The Last of
Nilay,
Us.
you'll like this.
Yeah.
Guess where it takes place? Open world city. Guess where?
It's Chicago. Somebody sent me. Is it Chicago?
Chicago, yeah.
Somebody
Chicago.
sent me a picture of the Chicago theater.
And it's like
I like it.
there's a scene where they're in
I'm
a
gonna go blow up my
there's a
house.
scene where they're in a club, and the level of detail on the people in the background, just the random people there, is crazy. They go.
Well, they're talking a lot about how they want it to be like this giant open world, and there's parts of it that look really systemic. Things don't happen the same way. Obviously, very emergent, like most open world games. I think when Brian Crescente was telling me that his favorite part was when there's a car accident. That car accident doesn't have to happen, but it does in this case. And there's I guess a woman who's hunched over a steering wheel, and her husband's in the passenger seat next to her, and you can overhear it if you happen to walk by or are paying attention. But he's yelling at her to get up, as in, I hope you're not dead. But it's like this giant teeming world. It feels very dense.
Yeah.
It does not look like anything that could run on today's consoles. Ubisoft insists it's coming to today's consoles, but I think that might be in addition to new hardware.
We there in the demo they show, I think the one that is online now, there's an odd part which I don't think I fully understand, where the main character actually, after the accident, pulls someone out of the car. Do you know what I'm talking about, Chris?
Yeah.
It's not for any particular reason, right? But it's like very GTA, but it's not like GTA. It's like the way it looks very realistic to me.
I would highly recommend you guys watch it. It's I think
Can we show some of it right now? Can we show the Watch Dogs trailer?
You guys do that?
Do we have the technology?
I see them clicking
I can't believe you haven't punched up the Watch Dogs trailer while
There's
we
a
were
lot of
talking
clicking
about it.
going on back there.
We're like
I've never seen people use the Verge faster.
just search for Watch Dogs trailer on the internet.
Okay, well, they're queuing that up.
While
Chris,
you cue that up, what else, Chris?
I want
Sorry.
I want to go through the traditional kind of the company line, and then we can talk about the games
Yeah,
a bit more. So let's talk. We were already kind of talking about Sony. Sony, to me, they were confused, right? I mean, there are a lot of games. I mean, I thought The Last of Us looked great, but then the sort of we're gonna brand it Sony Mobile or PlayStation Mobile.
I thought Sony had one of the strongest to show.
Really? Well, Chris, I'm curious.
I agree. I think Sony did have the strongest one, and that doesn't mean it was strong. It was the strongest.
Right. But I think that you mentioned the mobile thing. I think that's a bold move.
But they didn't announce any
PlayStation
games.
Mobile is really smart.
But there are no games.
I think it's a super smart move. I think they're getting ready to start showing it. Whether or not Sony can execute on it, it's a software platform idea. That's never been their strong suit at
Right.
all.
Yeah.
But it's super ambitious. Is exactly where a company like Sony and an organization like PlayStation needs to be going to be relevant in the next 5 years. I think it comes down to Sony now to execute. I interviewed John Kohler, who's their head of consoles, and I asked him about the fact that on a PlayStation mobile device, you're buying PlayStation 1 games that don't work as PlayStation 1 games on your PS3. You're buying two separate downloads of PlayStation 1 games.
Sorry, go ahead.
And they, whoa.
Hey.
And so you're buying separate downloads, and as a user experience, that's terrible. If you have a Kindle Fire and a Kindle, the Touch one, I don't know what it's called.
That's
you have
the
an
Fire.
expectation that, I don't know. You have an expectation that both of your Kindles will be able to read the one book you bought. If you have two iPhones, if you have an iPhone or whatever. But with PlayStation right now, if you buy a PCS1 game from PlayStation Store and your PS3, you have to buy that same game again on PlayStation Mobile, which is weird. So they have work to do. Kohler was very candid that he recognized that was a terrible user experience and they have to get better. I think the whole idea behind PlayStation Mobile and bringing the whole thing in-house and away from Sony Ericsson and Xperia is that they can now do a lot of the hard work of unifying that experience instead of this sort of balkanized corporate mess that they had before.
Yeah, but
Chris, hold on, wait,
Yeah, what's going on
hold
behind
on, hold
you?
on.
Yeah.
Tell the person who is taping boxes, and I think I know who it is. Tell them they have to stop while you're podcasting. Okay.
Is somebody tipping? I can't even hear. I have headphones
Is
on.
somebody taping up boxes?
I thought somebody was
box
just like
skippers.
sanding a house. That's what it sounded like.
I think it's someone
box
taping up
taping
boxes.
Can't
Whatever
even
that
hear it.
noise, whatever the noise is that sounds like someone taping up a box. Can you just have them stop for like a half an hour? That would be great.
Yeah. Okay. I think they stopped. I literally can't hear anything besides you guys. It's kind of.
That's what it sounds like what we were hearing, by the way, in case you're wondering. Sorry. So to get back on topic here, the mobile thing.
So did you see it running on any HTC phones?
They had them running in a case, didn't they? We did a thing
in a
of it.
case.
We did photos
Yeah,
of it.
in a case.
That
were-
to me is like
They
you
were
know-
live, right? Those were live devices. I can't remember now.
Well, I mean, it's just Android.
Yeah,
it can't
they
be that
look
hard
live.
to do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just that I think this is an incredible. By the way, we broke a story about Sony doing Android gaming.
Yeah, forever ago.
Forever ago is when we broke the news of the PlayStation phone, which became the what is it called? Play.
The
Yeah,
Xperia
Xperia Play.
Xperia
Xperia
Play,
Play.
and which is now like has been abandoned.
I mean, seriously,
not
that,
even
but
updating
that
it to-
product, the cycle of that product was going to be the Google Halo device.
Yeah.
And it went all the way to, and now it's totally abandoned. Like,
Yeah.
it can't, it
But-
just fizzled
but-
out.
but the
Hey,
part
here's
of
the thing about that device. It's like part of the problem with that device is it doesn't have the name PlayStation in it.
Yes.
Which was like
Huge problem.
Guys, like, you made a PlayStation, but like the huge problem. Another part of the problem with that device is, like I said, the ecosystem is detached from the actual PlayStation ecosystem.
Yeah.
So it's. I
Did,
mean,
did you get the
what does this have
impression?
to do with
Did you,
PlayStation?
did you get the impression that with this new initiative, this PlayStation Mobile, that's what they're calling it, right?
PlayStation Mobile.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to bring these things more to parity? Do you think that this is going to be they're actually going to care?
I think they have to, and I think that's the whole reason for the initiative and bringing it inside the PlayStation team is that they have to.
So it is going
It
to
is-
be in that same team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It
I think
rolls up there, and like that's important. From a structural standpoint, that's the only way they're going to be able to ensure a consistency across 3 different devices.
I think it's kind of an amazing move. I wish it had happened sooner. I think if they could really get their
Well,
act
hold on.
together.
They announced PlayStation Suite a long time ago. I've been asking about it in interviews for over a year. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I was at E3 last
But
year,
they
I took an
were,
Xperia Play
or-
interview.
but they were vague about whether they were going to bring it to other partners, weren't they?
They were vague about everything.
Right.
It was it was at that point it was PlayStation Suite and it was an SDK, but they didn't really talk about what it is. It's still relatively vague. They announced hardware partners, which is nice, but we'll see. I think it's
Right.
really ambitious.
Right.
I think
And
Sony is
and-
not going to nail it.
no games. I mean, it's still, we're
no.
still running PS1 games, which is like,
Well,
Yeah.
but PS1 games are fine if there's actual games. I mean, like
It's
you
the
got
proof
something.
of concept, right? Like this could work. I think Sony is not going to nail it on the first go round.
Yeah.
Like, make no mistake. But I think it has a lot
is
of
true.
promise.
Could we have the Watch Dogs trailer available? I want to punch it up here.
do you have a
Yeah,
touchpad?
Oh God, this looks so amazing. Wait, that frame rate is not right. Can you get the frame rate up? Is this what our viewers are seeing? Okay, the frame rate is. Imagine if this is perfectly smooth, but look at the detail. So he's got this like PDA or this smartphone that he can manipulate the world with. He can like hack stuff.
Yeah.
Look at the detail on. I mean, obviously this frame rate is not really doing it justice. But some of the background details and the details on the trees and stuff. And by the way, look at the amount of non-player characters here, and they're all like extremely detailed. They're all doing their own thing. They have like very detailed faces, and
Yeah, this looks bonkers.
you
Is it
gotta
going to
see-
blow up the Chicago theater?
Is that what that is?
Here's what Ubisoft was able to do with this trailer and the demo. It's not just a trailer; they're giving a demo on the floor. Or at least they were yesterday. Is that they've now gathered a huge amount of mind share for next generation, while everyone else, well, except for Nintendo. We'll get to Nintendo later. In terms of, I don't know. Do we have to call Wii U next generation? In terms of next,
Looks like the frame
I
rate
don't
just
know.
went up. You got the frame
Next
rate going?
generation.
All right, here we go. The frame rate is now working properly.
Anyway, continue talking, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
But while Microsoft's not talking about what they're doing, Sony's not talking about what it's doing. Even big third parties like EA aren't talking about their next gen strategy. Ubisoft showed off this game, got a huge amount of mind share, kicked off the discussion about next gen, and they kicked it off wrapped around one of their games. And if this game doesn't come out for next gen systems, because they insist it's Xbox 360, PS3, I think what's more likely is it's going to be forward compatible. Like, this game's going to cost a lot of money to make. It will look like this on a next gen system. It will look not like this on your Xbox 360. But they can't afford to make a game like this. The level of investment needed, and put it out on a system that, let's say, next year or 2 years from now, has 5 million units sold.
I know what just happened.
Whereas Xbox 360 has 70 million units sold.
Yeah, I mean, I actually will be disappointed if they bring this out for current gen consoles.
I think they have to. I think you're going to see. I think
guess-
you're going to see, with the exception of first-party games, Microsoft and Sony games. I think any big game for the next couple years is going to be forward compatible.
Well, no,
because they won't be able to afford.
I get that, but I mean, this just looks so amazing. I don't want to play a version that doesn't look as amazing.
It's a good thing you're buying PS4.
Yeah, you and I are going to play it on Xbox 720. So,
Xbox, I'm gonna play head to head with you. I'll be on my Xbox 720, and you'll be on your PlayStation 4, and we'll be playing on the new device agnostic network that's going to be built.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
To play
Right.
again. Why
It'll
don't
be a wireless
God?
5G network.
How amazing! By the way, how incredible would it be if you could play against? If you're an Xbox owner, you could play against PlayStation owners.
As incredible as it is, completely impossible.
It's not
And would
impossible.
never happen.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
They just don't want to do it. They want to lock you into their
well,
ecosystem. They don't want you to.
It's
they
not
don't-
technologically impossible.
Right,
No,
they could do it.
We've
mean-
seen demos at E3 before where they have it working across devices. Like that'll work in a development staging area.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start to go through the manufacturer certification process, all that stuff is like.
I mean,
nope.
it could be.
No, thank you.
I mean, from a technical standpoint,
could you put the jail back in? Because it seems like you don't have a jail here.
Yeah.
We'd really like a jail.
from a technical
Your walled
standpoint,
garden doesn't have a lot of walls. Can you put those back?
the garden is nice.
Yeah.
The lack of walls is a little startling. Can we do something about that? Okay, so let's talk about. You want to talk about Nintendo?
I was going to go to
Microsoft. All right, fine.
Whichever
We'll
one you
end on.
want.
No, let's do Microsoft.
We'll end on the bleakness of Nintendo.
Look. Everybody's very excited about Nintendo, right, Chris? JK. Keep going.
Microsoft, dude.
Microsoft.
So Microsoft, they had Smart Glass, which I think, obviously partially meant to dull the impact of a Wii gamepad. But I think there's some really neat, novel ideas to it. It's so early. It remains to be seen how much they're going to integrate it. As far as I'm interested, specifically into games. And we'll see also about
They're not smart glasses. Let's just state what it is. It is a multi-screen experience for entertainment. It's not for games, right? They didn't show it off for games.
No, hold on. No, it will be in games. I talked to Phil Spencer. He said every single game. So he's head of Microsoft Game Studios, first party.
Yeah.
He said every game that comes across his desk, just like they ask the developer, can you put Connect in this? Even if it's just voice menus,
right.
like, do you want to put? He said every single game that comes across his desk, they'll be asking about smart glass implementation.
So,
what can you put?
So I'll be able to on my phone, my Windows phone, I'll be able to have let's say I'm playing,
or your iPhone.
Okay, let's
or
say
your Android phone.
Let's say I'm playing Watch Dogs on my Xbox with smart glass.
Yeah.
And I'll have the phone will be like the phone in the game that you have, right?
We'll see.
Possibly. That's the idea.
Yeah.
You could have the
That's
second
the ideal,
screen,
yeah.
the second screen companion experience for what's happening on the big screen.
By the way,
Or separately, or separately, it's like part of their, you can, part of smart glasses, you can be watching a movie or listening to music or something and kind of throw it to the TV or bring it back to the secondary device.
Right. It's AirPlay.
It's AirPlay, right.
Here's some of the cool things about it. Number one, it's device agnostic. This is Nintendo. This is Microsoft saying, we recognize that our, touch-based aren't the best in the world, or aren't the most popular in the world, at least. I'll let you guys debate whether they're the best. But for an Xbox user, the responsible and respectful thing to do is to make sure that it's available for iOS and for Android. And I think that's really smart for them. It makes this device available on tons of different screens. It has a lot of other entertainment opportunities, right, where you can look up information on a movie while you're watching it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Which Wikipedia is no good for.
Yeah.
I never use Wikipedia for that.
Smart Glass looks really interesting. And
It's
it's
way better to use their.
But all of the ideas around it that they demoed are Huh.
No, I will say one
Like no,
thing.
like the
No,
gaming
no, no, no.
idea. The only gaming idea I've ever seen for a 2-screen device, the only gaming demo that any idea that anybody seems to have is when you play Madden, you can draw routes on your phone.
No, I think
But
there
that's
is.
it. That's all they ever showed. And
think
even
there
that
is-
was like
So
a
Wii
mock.
U
no,
has
no.
a lot more.
No. That yes, Wii U has a lot more. This mic is screwed up again. The thing they showed with Game of Thrones, where I mean,
You
which
can see where
which
everybody
didn't
is
work
on
in
that.
the demo they actually showed us, but it kind of as the show progresses, it shows you where people are located on a map in sync.
Yeah.
The band in sync, where they're located. Are they in Westeros? You know, are they sailing through the narrow sea? We don't know. But the point is, no, that to me would be really helpful because I'm often watching the show. Even when I'm reading the book, I'm like, wait a second, this is what's because they talk a lot about where people are headed,
Yeah.
and you kind of don't know. So I feel like that's kind of an amazing, like that actually makes sense in context for that particular piece of content.
Sure.
But there is a lot of stuff like learn more about the director of this movie, which is like what Wikipedia was invented for,
Yeah. And it's, well, I mean, all that's great. And I appreciate
Right.
or IMDb.
the bringing it together. But even the Wii U, the 2-screen gaming stuff is like, I still have to see it. It still has to make sense.
The Wii U 2-screen game, and I sorry, I don't want to like gloss over Microsoft because
No, there's so much more here.
is there a lot more with Microsoft?
There's Smart Glass, then there's Xbox Music.
Oh,
which
Xbox
they
Music,
did.
right.
They did all these new content providers, and they
Right.
put Internet Explorer, that's part of Smart Glass,
Yeah,
on the
they
television.
Microsoft really.
But you know,
That's not good. That's bad.
great in turn. I don't know. Well,
That's back.
Nope.
Hey,
Sorry,
Hey.
I'm losing internet here. One
Oh,
sec.
great. We'll talk about Microsoft here for a second. Their thing was not about gaming this year, really at all. I mean, I
are we on the internet right now?
yeah, we're on the internet. It's them.
All right.
They're having the issue.
My internet went down too.
I don't know anything about that. We're good, right? We're still broadcasting. Great.
Yeah. My internet here got weird. for a minute.
Microsoft was all about like we are your cable box, we are your home entertainment system, like we're where you listen to music. The Xbox is all of that stuff, and I think that they have had an enormous amount of success with this. I now use my Xbox more than any other connected device in my living room, and I have a Roku, Apple TV.
Yeah, me too.
I have a Boxy Box. And the one that 9 times out of 10 now, it's got Hulu, it's got Netflix, it just got Amazon. I mean, it's actually kind of amazing. And
got HBO.
It's got HBO Go.
Game of Thrones.
And it's got Game of Thrones. And it's got Zune, which will become
Xbox.
which is going to become Xbox whatever. And then so you've got all those offerings as well. I mean, it's an incredible array. It's easy to access. It works pretty much seamlessly, and so I feel like they're just, they've just
Here's the thing.
snuck
I
in
think
there.
Microsoft is very far along in next gen kind of strategy and planning. I think they've got a lot of games in development for next gen. So they don't have the strongest kind of core gaming first party lineup. I think this is where Sony did a much better job in terms of appealing to gamers.
just for E3 though.
Right. Microsoft's focus is really appealing and rolling out and expanding those entertainment services.
Yeah.
I think they have a ton of work to do there. I think if Apple ever really gets its head in this game, a lot of the headway that Microsoft's made is going to, be less impactful. I'll give you an example. So on the Xbox dashboard, which is, I think, a disaster to navigate, you have the app marketplace. But those aren't really apps. There's no SDK. All those apps are built by Microsoft. I couldn't make a Polygon app if I wanted to. You guys couldn't make a Verge app for your video content.
We should.
There is
really should.
there's no marketplace. Like you can't buy these apps. Nobody's selling them.
Yeah, it's
right?
very much like a
curated portfolio.
It's
of
very
apps.
it's very much a proprietary kind of Microsoft's experience for you.
Yeah, but the point being is the fact that they use the language of app marketplace, like they're trying to evoke something that they do not in fact have.
But don't you think that's where they're headed? I mean, doesn't it seem like that's an obvious progression?
I don't think we'll be there on Xbox 360. I think that is, if they're smart, that is where we'll be on Xbox 720.
Well,
so
I don't know. They have to get a head start. I mean, look, because Apple's,
No, sure.
it seems to me, I mean, it would be insane. I mean, we talked about this for a while. I had heard when we first talked about the new Apple TV that they were going to be coming with like an SDK for it in apps. It seems crazy to me that you wouldn't want to say to HBO and to Netflix, unless they've got something even more exciting in the pipe, that you wouldn't want to say, look, you guys can build and customize this thing as you would with your iPad or iPhone app and get it into this market, and people can download and put it on their TV. To me, that seems obvious. So I feel like Microsoft has to have some awareness of the possibility of that. No way they're waiting until next year and even beyond next year. I mean, if they announce at E3 next year, we think holiday season 2013, right, for the new console?
There's a good chance, yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to wait till holiday season 2013 to let people build, apps for that. I mean, I feel like there's nothing
Absolutely.
But I don't feel like there's anything stopping them from doing it in the nearer future. Like, what's stopping them?
I think it's a question of resources, that they're going to build it for a platform, and it's not going to be the same platform they use for 720.
Right.
They don't have the same infrastructure. The dashboard does not work really well.
Yeah.
Purchasing doesn't work as well. It's not as seamless. I think
that's a mess. Their buying of stuff is ridiculous.
Well, it's still like it's a set-top
Xbox
box,
Live
right?
indie games.
Yeah.
It's still set up. But if you look at Xbox Live indie games, that service was announced before the iOS App Store took off. And I remember going on NPR, and they were asking me about the YouTube of games, and they were talking about Xbox Live indie games. That service has been an abject failure versus the iOS App Store.
Has it? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
But
It has been a failure.
But there are some very successful and popular games. On the service.
Nobody's made $1 million on that App Store before.
Oh, in comparison, sure.
Yeah.
I think barely. There's maybe a few games that have made six figures.
Well, but also the market is somewhat smaller, right? I mean, there's 66 million Xbox users.
Yeah, but the big Xbox
I forget
game
the number.
makes billions of dollars.
Well, the big Xbox game costs $60 to buy.
Yeah, but
hold on, but
you can make
it's not true. Minecraft sold 2 million units already?
Yeah.
Right, so Xbox Live Arcade games can do huge sales numbers.
No, but I'm saying, but 2 million is nothing compared to what they do on the App Store. Maybe that's what
2
we're
million
saying.
2 million is a completely outrageous amount compared to what they do on the indie games marketplace. And that a lot of that's UI. They don't. Microsoft knows this. I've talked to them for years.
There's no push.
Shortcomings.
There's no push for it. They don't curate it that well. Yeah. Their discoverability is impossible. But also, it's. I just think the market is different. Also, I mean,
I think the market doesn't have to be different. I think the market is different because they have not.
I agree.
I think properly built a UI and a system that encourages people to discover new types of experiences.
And wait till Apple and Steam announce the new piece of hardware they're working on for the living room.
yeah, that's gonna happen.
And
Whoa, is that confirmed?
totally happening. Totally happening.
So, Chris, let me ask you about Kinect real quick, because that leads into the Internet Explorer thing. So they put IE on the TV. They said we know that keyboards and mice are bad in the living room, but we have Kinect and we have Smart Glass. So now we can put the browser on TV and do all this additional gesture navigation. But then every game I saw them demo that had Kinect was just the microphone. I don't think I saw, unless it was the new Dance Central, which they brought Usher out for.
Oh, sure.
Which made me very happy. Ursher. Yeah. There was all voice. So what's going on with Kinect? Why the? I mean, it seems like they backed way off.
They showed some. They showed.
All the demos were people screaming at the TV.
Sorry,
they were all games where you murder people.
I was having flashbacks to the Pottermore demo, the Book of Spells demo for Sony.
Yeah,
we haven't even touched on.
That's different.
No, I know, but didn't they showed some stuff with motion besides Dance Central?
Not very much.
During the press conference, they might not have leaned into it too hard. I think they were going over a lot of entertainment stuff in Smart Glass.
Yeah.
Kinect, I mean, Microsoft's investment, both from a marketing and development standpoint, in Kinect is still pretty staggering.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Xbox has been the number one best-selling console in North America for 16 months in a row now, a huge part of that is just because of Kinect. And they're going to continue to invest in it like crazy. The bigger question for me and for obviously your audience is, when are key Kinect games going to be better? One of Microsoft's biggest games was Star Wars Kinect. It was terrible. Right. So, and maybe they'll never get better, but either way, they sell, and Microsoft is going to continue investing.
I was just thinking about that Han Solo song from the Star Wars Kinect game. Sorry, Paul is on the line. Paul Miller
on a phone.
Yeah, I want to bring him into the conversation. I think you're Paul Miller. Is this Paul Miller?
This is Paul Miller.
Wow. This is like talking to somebody in the 1980s.
This is why I don't talk on the phone. I just realized.
Sounds so terrible.
How are you, Paul?
You guys are like real. I'm good. You guys are really quiet.
Well, that's probably because your phone is a Huawei from 1972. Hi, Paul.
Do you know what's weird about this? I can see Paul. He's right there.
Is he really? we had a big debate. Let's query the group here.
Yeah.
If Paul appears on Chris Grant's Skype camera range, does that mean he's on the internet? I mean, does that mean
I just do like an accidental walk by?
Like, does that mean that Paul's? I mean, Paul.
Yeah, they're all saying it's cheating.
Yeah,
they say it's cheating.
I think it's cheating.
Okay, so
personally.
Paul has been being very strict here. He's in the room, but he's not going near the camera.
Yeah.
But you know that.
Look, I'm just gonna walk by.
No, don't do it.
Ready for this? Don't do it.
Okay, go
People
ahead.
are freaking
Go
out.
ahead.
Do it.
What's gonna happen?
Blow some minds, yeah.
He walks
He's
by.
like, well, look,
look,
he's
Paul
not
walks
looking.
by. Paul walks by cameras on the internet all the time. There he is. I mean, think about how many.
was amazing.
Think about how many IP cameras he's walking by
Oh yeah.
constantly.
Paul, your picture gets taken 12,000 times.
He just
a day.
fell into something. Are you okay, Paul?
So Paul,
Oh, don't go outside. Don't go
that's the
outside.
fire escape.
Come back in. We can't hear you. It's so noisy out there. By the way, I've been on this.
It's noisy out here.
Yeah, I've been on this fire escape, and it is. You really get to see all of what's
It's an
happening.
amazing fire escape.
You get to
Let
see
me
all
tell
of what's
you.
happening in downtown LA, which is people being set on fire, rapes, cops beating people for no reason. Downtown LA is like Mad Max. It's like beyond Thunderdome, and like Thunderdome.
Also, a lot of guys in leather.
A lot of leather. Yes, and a lot of like souped up crazy vehicles as well. Yeah. No, downtown LA is the scariest place I've ever been in my life. At night, late night in downtown LA is truly the scariest place you can be in America.
But as long as you're looking from the fire
Did you,
escape.
did you guys tell my great story from the show?
No. Oh no, let's hear this. Oh, is this what I think it is, Paul? Your sad story?
Yeah, it is.
Check out Paul's sad story from coming out for E3.
I showed up here and I was like, I hate driving in cars, and I'm not sure if the subway system works, so I'm going to rent a bike. And it turned out it was like cheaper to basically buy a bike, so I bought a bike. And then that night it got stolen.
He bought a bike for $250. It was purple with yellow wheels.
It was purple and yellow.
It looked like the Joker's. It looked like the Joker's bike. I was actually referring to it as I was actually referring to it as the Joker's bike.
Nice.
And then immediately stole it.
how fast?
Like less than I had the bike for less than 12 hours.
It's amazing.
Anyhow, that's just a taste of what's
Did
going
he buy
on
a
in
lock?
LA.
Yes, I locked it up.
Yeah, of course he bought a lock.
LA, man.
More like LA. I like LA, don't get me wrong.
So Paul, tell us about E3. What I mean, I read your report, and that's kind of what we're getting at with Chris here. Is that,
Paul has other stuff coming too.
yeah. But
Oh yeah, I'm blowing it out. Well, you know what's funny is the most fun I've really had here is playing We Fit You. It's just there's a bobsledding game, and it works your core really well, and it feels very immersive.
He's like
You feel
you're like near tears about it. You're like, there's a bobsledding game.
I feel like my mom said this exact same thing to me
And
like
you know what?
4
And
years ago.
it
That
There's
really
a
fit.
bobsled game. Oh yeah.
It really works your core,
Yeah.
and that's what you're interested
Yeah.
in.
And there's another game where you're like you're a waiter in a restaurant and you've got to carry desserts on your tray, and your tray is the Wii U, and you've got to balance your Wii U so that the desserts don't fall over or fall off the tray. And then you walk on the Wii Fit and you turn and you like navigate this restaurant and deliver desserts to customers.
Is this what happens when you don't have the internet?
Paul has a playful mind. His mind may have softened a little bit due to the lack of internet.
It's just it's the
I
best
will
thing.
say something though. I will say something. I think that
Oh my God.
that waiter game sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
It sounds really fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun. Does it
Well, I
vibrate?
wish
Does it vibrate
You had like a.
like a tray would vibrate?
I don't know if it vibrates.
Does the Wii
I-
gamepad have vibration?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
It better.
I'll trust Chris. Chris is a professional game
You know,
journalist. I'm a hobbyist.
I don't know if any of the demos I saw. Showed
Really?
it.
No,
Yeah.
because that would be crazy if it didn't have vibration. So
It might not be necessary, depending on the type of game you're playing.
So Paul, so you like the Wii? You like Wii Fit U? Wii Fit U? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I mean, that is Wii Fit U is what it's called.
Wow.
And so,
and, Zombie U is pretty fun too.
Yeah. Is Zombie U?
Is a cross?
Can I ask a question? Is Zombie U? And I didn't play it. Now they're letting people play it out on the floor.
Yeah.
Is Zombie U like a fully like a first person like fully like playable, or is it on rails?
No, it's not on rails at all. No, you run around with dual analog sticks, but every once in a while, like you will pull out your crossbow, you pull the Wii U up, and you're looking through the Wii U as your crossbow scope.
I'll be honest with you.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds
that's
pretty.
Like, that's the point of Wii U. That's like what it is about. After the Nintendo press conference, which is insanely disappointing, someone behind me is like, Zombie U better be bleeping good.
Bleeping
and
good.
They said exactly like
You like effing good or
that was the
essing
only
good?
game that was yeah, effing good.
Yeah.
EFF.
Effing better be
that
effing
was
good.
the
Oh, it's
only
British
game that-
British person.
Right. That was the only game that they showed that was really like a Wii U game. You know, like
They look like a real
lot of the
game.
games had like there's a game was it P100 or Project 100 or whatever. It like looked cool, looked fun, but like the whole use of the Wii U gamepad was to draw. There's like 4 different shapes you could draw.
Right, that's what I'm
turn your
saying.
thing into.
All of these second screen games, except for the one you just described,
So
seem insane.
Zombie U actually, and the graphics looked kind of decent on that too, didn't they?
Yeah, that was their Xbox graphics.
Zombie U. They also show, what was the game they showed where you could hold? Oh, it was Arkham City Armored Edition. Is that what they're calling it? So they have Arkham City that they're bringing out for the Wii U, which by the way I think is weak, like so weak. Like they should have gone to those developers and said, we want to do a new Batman game, like a brand new one.
So are you ready to get into Nintendo and just dive in?
Do it.
Go over the thing.
Yes.
First, I'm trying to find you guys a quote, if I can bring it up, that Satoru Iwata, who's
Can we get some
CEO
footage?
of Nintendo.
Sorry, while you're doing this, can we get some footage of Zombie U up of not the horrible demo they showed of the guy playing it, but if there's some better, because they showed a really bad. Okay, Michael's on it. Go ahead, Chris.
So Nintendo, I think they had a lot of expectations. On Saturday afternoon, they sent out an email saying that there was going to be a streaming web event on Sunday afternoon. One day, heads up, right before the biggest event of the year.
Yep.
They announced a lot of the details of the Wii U and the new controller and all this stuff at that streaming web event, which was very, anticlimactic.
It was, and they announced big stuff. Like they announced all this online stuff you could do, like real time chat, Miiverse, real time chat with people, where you could like ask people for help in the game, and you could video chat with them for help in the game. Like,
can you help me show my penis in this game? That's all I imagine that's going.
I mean, it's chat roulette meets
We Fit You.
forum, meets a forum walkthrough.
We Fit You.
That would be amazing.
Meets We Fit You.
You're holding a tray.
Think about what is there there's a camera on that thing, right? Oh, this is gonna get
On the facing you.
Miiverse is gonna get real nasty. If I have
Here's the thing
anything
about
to say
Miiverse.
about it.
Here's the thing about Miiverse. Every single message and image will be moderated by a human being. Nintendo.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, those people are gonna see some really
They
sick
don't do
shit.
that with the DS sketching game, do they?
What's that?
You know, the DS has a messaging system where you could sketch things for each other. Do they moderate that?
No, because that's peer to peer.
Right.
Although every time you go to a
Just draw
Nintendo event,
penises.
if you go to a Nintendo event and you turn that thing on, it's just drawings of wieners. Nintendo event. Anyone, you just bring your DS and open that up.
Dicks
It's just
everywhere.
wieners. Just all over the place.
That's beautiful.
So here's the thing about Nintendo. I'm going to read you guys a quote. This is from CNBC.
Yeah. Is it from
My
the
impression is that we should have.
Sorry, it's from this is from
my
Nintendo.
impression is that we should have. Yeah, from Satoru Iwata.
Sorry. Okay.
My impression is that we should have done a better job because, in effect, we could not fully convey what Wii U is all about. So I am not 100% satisfied as far as this year's presentation.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. They had this Sunday presentation that was seemingly last minute. they had their Tuesday morning press conference, which the whole time they said, guys, there's so much to talk about. We can't possibly talk about it all. So we'll have 2 more press conferences this week. Then they had a Wii U press conference later that had really nothing in it. Then they had they barely talked about 3DS in the major press conference. They had a whole separate 3DS press conference and announced 0 new games, not a single one. They had 4 press conferences and managed to flop all 4 of them. And I think the impressive thing about what Nintendo did this year is that they had a couple things that they really had to nail, and they managed to not nail any of them.
No, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
One of the biggest ones, for example, is a competent online system, right? They have never had one before historically. I think they had to come out and have a lot of details and really lean into what they were doing for online. And instead, they're like, we have Miiverse, and you could like have your Miis on there, and you could like leave messages. And it's like, guys, this is not what people want. This isn't what people have been asking for.
Yeah.
Wait, does Nintendo? Have you ever asked anybody at Nintendo if they've heard of the iPhone? Just throwing it out there.
Oh.
Because it seems like Microsoft and Sony are like, here's all this stuff with phones. They make their own phones. And Nintendo's like, what's a phone? Have you seen our giant controller? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
So Satoru Iwata at GDC last year came out, did a keynote, and proceeded to talk about how crappy phone games were to an audience full of phone game developers.
Yeah. No, they're so crappy. They're so crappy that they're eating your market.
Yeah.
They're eating you alive.
Miiverse ties in a little bit too far, or is supposed to eventually tie into a phone for like a messaging.
Yeah, but the messaging stuff, but it's very like it's browser based. And we actually thought, because when they first showed it, we caught a glimpse of it and we were like, oh my God, is that an iOS app? And it was like, whoa, they're finally actually doing something. Even if it's a messaging thing, they're not even doing that. They're not even doing like an Android and iOS app for messaging in Miiverse. Yep. It's like they want to be, they're almost like Sonying this like thing, you know, where they're like, Sony's kind of going in the other direction. And so is Microsoft. Both of those companies acknowledge other screens exist that you want to be part of.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's like, no.
Here's our giant controller.
Yeah, no.
What I envision in my head is, you know, parents go into the store for the holidays and they can buy this huge thing that, like the Wii U with this huge controller that kind of looks like a tablet.
Yeah.
Or they can just buy the tablet. And I think that is actually going to be a dead competition.
Tablet's a lot more expensive.
Well, how much is the Wii U?
Well, here's
like
the other
$300? iPad 2 is like...
They have not announced the price or release date.
I mean, I don't see how they can do it for less than $300, personally.
Here's the thing, though. Here's where it gets weird in terms of how they're going to sell it. And so this gets down to, like, I think they're confused about how they're going to market this product. So, for starters, CNN reported the day of their press... This is great. The day of their press conference, the Wii U was a tablet accessory for your Wii.
Mainstream killing it. They really, CNN really reported, and I don't know if they ever even changed it.
They did, but after like a long time.
Wii U, they didn't know. They literally watched.
That night they did not.
They watched the presentation. This is the second year they've given a presentation about what the Wii U is.
Yeah.
And we're like, the Wii U accessory, which will hopefully breathe new life. Literally, it said like it will hopefully breathe new life into the Wii. by killing it because it's a new console.
Here's the thing about that. It makes sense why people would be confused about that.
They've downplayed the whole idea that there's a console. I mean, we actually said in the presentation they don't even show. There's one shot where they showed somebody like the SingStar or whatever. What was the game where they're singing?
Sing.
Thank you, Paul.
Just sing, whatever. They show the console, and by the way, they show the console with a wired mic, like this cord dangling out of the console and up to this microphone, which is like the saddest looking thing in the world. I think.
There's a mic built into it. So let me play devil's advocate.
We just got this, by the way,
from the chat room. Somebody in the chat room
made this.
Paul, they made a Polygon logo that says your name in it.
If you're watching the video, can somebody print this out and show it to Paul at the loft? Because this is
really screen grab.
Let me play Bowser's advocate here.
Bowser's advocate. Paul Miller.
Bowser's advocate.
Is Bowser the devil of Nintendo?
Microsoft or Sony talked about crossplay, and like I saw like one game on the show floor where you had like the same menu if you pulled up the menu in the game were also on the Vita all the time. So you could use the same menu on your Vita as you could or you use your Vita sometimes maybe as a gamepad. Microsoft showed off, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you could do these game things on the tablet? But, they didn't show anything real. They were showing off concepts, basically. Nintendo, because, it is very constrained because it's its own tablet, but also it's actually pulling these things off right now for real that I was able to play with on the show floor. So I think Nintendo has a jump start. It just, definitely doesn't have the long play at all. Well, because we are going to want to start using our own tablets and phones. But I think right now they've got something going on, and it is part of the. It's a simulacrum. Simulacrum? Is that how it goes?
Simulacrum is a word.
Yeah.
A simulacrum of what the future is. It just isn't.
Well, but the difference is. But I think the difference is that, and not that Microsoft doesn't want you to use their tablet and Sony doesn't want you to use their tablet or whatever. But there is. They're like Nintendo's like, buy our tablet and our console and use them together. They're
and
not
by the
like,
way, this tablet doesn't have a browser.
It doesn't do. It's not really a tablet.
It only works with our console.
But it looks exactly like a tablet.
Let's be honest. It's just a fancy Dreamcast controller. Can we just say what it is? Can we just all admit it?
That's the reason Nintendo could potentially afford to sell this for a competitive price, like $300 or under.
Right now, there's a Sega engineer who was the guy who was like, let's put this screen in the Dreamcast controller, this little LCD, who right now is contemplating suicide. Gives his idea.
To the press conference, they were like, this is the first time anybody's had a screen in your controller.
Oh, how quickly they forget. How quickly they forget.
Here's the thing, though.
I bet Nintendo
so if you look at the
planning on selling
denied.
the second Wii U tablets to a lot of people, more of their Wii Plus. There's a new little fitness, kind of like a Fitbit clone or something for Wii Fit coming. They're probably going to hope to sell even more Wii
Paul,
Fit.
do you understand what that sounds like?
They're going to make up their margin a little bit on these peripherals.
I mean, that's great, but to me, it just sounds like you have to buy everything from Nintendo, and everything looks like a cartoon.
Right.
And that sucks.
So,
all right, go ahead, Chris.
Here's the demographic problem. So, I don't know. Maybe my mom bought a Wii Fit and a Wii, right? That was their blue ocean strategy for Wii. Is that everyone's sitting here wrestling in bloody waters, and there's a whole other ocean out there. They made a lot of money selling Wiis to people and expanding the gaming audience. However, if the analysts and focus groups are to be believed, those people didn't play their Wiis, and there have been a lot of.
I definitely bought my Wii, played it for 2 weeks, tried to, and then unhooked it.
The
and
Wii
put
is
it
in that
I don't even know where it is
category
now
of
in my
products
house.
that I bought that I was really excited about that I now have no idea where they even are.
I mean,
I don't know where my Wii is.
And
my second gen Kindle.
I mean, there were moments. There were definitely moments of gaming experiences where I was like, "This is great and amazing and a revelation." Sure. But it just wore off very quickly. I mean, and to go beyond. I mean, first off, it was underpowered. And this, by the way, again, this will be obsolete in a year. This hardware will be last generation hardware.
No, we have specs
in 1 year.
It's basically an Xbox 360.
I mean, it already is obsolete. And the Xbox is pushing. The Xbox is pushing what it can do to its limits, right? It's at the end of its life. Wii U's beginning now, where it's ending. So.
Yep. So here's the thing about that though, is that I would put you in the core gamer category. How many hours did you spend in Fallout 3? You're not the blue ocean.
That's different. Fallout 3 became a different. That's a whole different story.
Josh doesn't want to talk about it.
Fallout 3 was a place that I went to relax, to talk to people, to make friendships.
You were talking to those people? Those people you shouldn't talk. Yeah. So here's the thing about Wii U though, is that Nintendo. I think the blue ocean strategy in a lot of ways, especially with the brand name Wii. It's a one-time use ripcord. They pulled it. A lot of that audience isn't picking up another Wii. It's hey, we know you bought a Solo Flex and never used it. Do you want this new Solo Flex? Nope. I got the other one in the garage. Not using it.
In that sentence, we is written WII, right?
Yeah.
We know you bought a Solo Flex. Anyhow, sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
I think you could have a really strong first year and a little bit of a next year, and then it will trail off pretty rapidly. Like it will have some of the early success like the Wii did, but then it will trail off more rapidly than the Wii did.
Well, I think it's going to come down to the experiences. I mean, I really do. If they deliver, like if Zombie U, which by the way, do we have the footage of that yet? Yeah. We have footage of Zombie U I want to show. If Zombie U is this amazing experience that really puts you in a game the way no other console has ever done it, and there are more experiences like that. Is this it? I like that we have the IGN logo on this.
Yeah, it's real nice.
IGN, they have such a great. There's like these gaming monopolies. The gaming world is a mysterious place. But Spike TV had all these exclusives at E3.
Yeah,
they just kept like rolling. Now this is not gameplay. This is Chris. You can see this, right?
No, I've seen it.
Wait a second. Are they actually using Johnny Cash? No, it's not. I thought they were using a Johnny Cash song. Wow.
I don't think Johnny Cash ever sang that song.
No, I couldn't tell.
Like a sound alike.
I couldn't tell at
This
at
sounds
first.
like a social
By the way,
distortion cover
this
band.
stuff looks amazing. This is rendered, pre-rendered.
No, it sounds like the Pogues.
Yeah, it does kind of sound.
Zombie U is my favorite thing, but outside of Wii Fit U, but Zombie U isn't what sells, Nintendo consoles. Because Ubisoft, if you remember, what's it called? The sword fighting game that came out for the Wii originally. It did well.
Wow, this is dark. This is really dark.
But that's not what sold Nintendo consoles.
I mean,
What
wow,
sold
this
Nintendo
is
consoles
really.
when it comes out
Sorry, I've never
was
seen
Mario
this.
Galaxy.
This just got super real.
Is this? I've never seen this.
This is the worst episode of House.
This
I've
is
ever
not
seen.
the actual gameplay, though. Is there gameplay in this trailer?
No, that's a cinematic trailer.
Well, we don't care about this trailer, guys. We want the one with the gameplay. So, way to freak us all out with that guy blowing his brains out in a graphic slow-mo pan
Really slow motion.
shot of the back of his head. But we just wanted to see.
So here's what I would say about Zombie U. So Zombie U is a really impressive. Ubisoft is throwing a ton of money into Wii development, so good for them.
Watch Dogs for Wii.
The third-party game.
Wii U. Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs coming to Wii.
They didn't announce that, did they? They said Xbox and PS3, but no Wii U.
And PC.
And PC.
Here's
but-
the thing. If they spend
Huge market.
no Wii U.
They spend a lot of time on stage talking about third-party kind of core gamer games. They brought up Batman Arkham City, and that was maybe their biggest third-party presentation, and it was a game that I played last year.
Yeah. No, and then like
and it's coming out later this
and
year.
They were really
They talked
defiant.
about Mass Effect 3.
They were really defiant about somebody asked some questions. I forget where it was, and they were like, is this a new game? This is the same game we've already played, and they're like, no, it has new content.
No.
And it's like, no, but this game is going to end the same way the game that you've already played ends. Like, it may have like a couple of new cutscenes or some weird thing you can do with the controller, but this is it's going to be like a year and a half old by the time anybody plays it on your console, which is weak.
What I'm saying is I'm actually going to buy a Wii Fit U for Mario Kart and the next real Mario game. And,
You mean Wii U.
a new Smash Brothers and Wii Fit U, And I think that's why most people buy
Paul, you don't know this,
Wii.
but we have a picture.
We have a picture of Paul on his
Andreas
bike.
Boer tweeted at me.
Can we bring this up? Sorry, we're
sent me
jumping
a
around
picture
here.
of him.
Somebody
He said-
actually posed with Paul outside of our party with the purple bike that got stolen.
I would steal that bike.
Now
I'm
check
just
it
gonna
out.
say
Does that not look like the Joker's bike?
It definitely looks like the Joker's bike. Where did you buy this bike, Paul?
Where'd you get that wonderful
like
toy?
up
What did
the street.
what did he say?
Where did you get that wonderful toy?
Wow!
Wonderful.
Wow! Toy? Isn't that what you said? Where did you get that wonderful toy?
Paul, was
This
it
is
weird?
Joker.
Yeah,
You
no,
got it.
we get it. We get it. I didn't hear what you
I
said.
didn't get it.
It's brilliant. It's a
Did
Tim
you
Burton.
only listen to Party Man while you were out?
Yeah, were you just driving around listening to the Bat Dance on that? You screaming, "This town needs an enema." No, like our jokes are so old. We were just really showing our age. Like we're talking about the Batman. We're doing the Batman movie from 1989.
Yeah.
1989.
Yeah.
So,
I thought it was
Hey,
a
Paul,
Lakers
would you say
bike.
that was your would you say that
You're
was
the
your
LA
number one bike?
Lakers.
oh, Lakers. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. You have a
Oh,
real
wait,
gameplay
what-
trailer now? Okay, here we go. Okay, our guys, our video team thinks they have a gameplay trailer of Zombie U. No, don't know. You don't know? They're starting it apparently. Did you play Zombie U, Paul?
Yeah.
Did it scare you?
You know what's funny is that the thing, I'm not very good at scary games anyway, so I got my heart pounding pretty much no matter what. But the scariest, most intense part was I had a shotgun, which is by far like the best weapon in that game, and I ran out of shells, so I had to pull up the inventory, and the inventory is on the
Yeah, we're
on the
watching
Wii
that.
U.
We're looking at that right now.
You look down at this inventory, and your guy on the TV like kneels down and looks into his backpack, and you can still work the analog sticks and look around him, see if any zombies are. So I'm like there's zombies. I know that they're coming in. I'm kind of looking to see where they're coming from, and I'm trying to swap out my shotgun.
Now
for
this
like
looks
a cricket bat
this
or
looks
something like that.
amazing. You have the sniper rifle, and you bring the Wii U up to the screen, and it becomes the scope of the sniper rifle. I mean, that looks
Right, and you're really moving it, and it really felt like a real good control. It felt really nice.
I mean, that does seem like these do seem like scenarios that I will be personally really into. This one is great where they're showing one now where you're hacking a door and there's zombies coming behind you, and it's like the screen of the Wii U becomes the door hacking, the door entry keypad, and you're looking behind you at these guys coming your way. Oh, look at that! It does.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow! It becomes. That's pretty intense.
No, it's very effective murder.
So it
weapon
also
as well.
becomes like a hatchet, and you have to like swing it down on people. I don't know. I have to say, watch it.
Well, so our entire chat room is screaming that this isn't actual gameplay we were watching.
That was actual gameplay.
That was CGI.
That's
Chris-
actual gameplay.
Huh?
I mean, that might have been.
Look, the game. Let me just let everybody know the game doesn't look great. It kind of looks like
Yeah.
an Xbox game. Like there's like scattered debris on the floor, right? But it's all one flat texture. Like
Wait a second. So are you saying? Are they saying that's
the
not?
current gen game.
Chris, you saw the footage we just ran, right?
I couldn't see it.
It's the demo from where they show. It's the one from the presentation where they showed the different things that it could do. That's
gameplay.
Is that not pre-rendered?
I don't think so. I think that's gameplay. Here's the thing. The Wii U looks good. It's got Xbox 360. I mean, probably better than Xbox 360 graphics. The bigger question isn't the power of the system. It's the investment of the developers and how far they want to push it.
Right.
For a launch title on a system that might not do well, I don't think Ubisoft's going to go crazy.
Well, and that's the thing. The Wii never got hardly any big budget exclusive development. Nintendo never even spends very much money on the games it makes for the Wii. I mean, like the big game that they showed off was like new Super Mario Brothers Wii U, which looks like the Super NES Mario.
Yeah, no, dude, that game
identical.
That game looks like
That
Mario
cost them like
64,
$10 to make.
and Mario 1 had a baby.
I feel like Nintendo's been beating a dead horse for a while with the Mario franchise. I know some of the games are really good. I feel like they did something for the 3DS that was like.
Well, they're beating a dead horse with you.
Well, they did this thing. They were
my
like,
niece and nephew.
They're
Still
like,
love
who
Mario.
we haven't seen enough of is Luigi, and it's like, that's because nobody wants to see Luigi.
No,
Like,
dude, no. That's what I'm saying. It's us. Like we want to murder people. That's what we're doing, right? Can you find a more innovative way for us to murder people?
I don't.
My niece and nephew are like, oh my god, it's Luigi.
I actually. Okay, now I'm being told that we have more footage or real footage.
Oh god.
Of Zombie U, but I don't just want to murder people. I want to do other things, but I don't want to play Super Mario Brothers. I guess that's true.
But they keep making children. Like they.
No, they got to stop. We got to stop. Forced sterilization for everyone. Is that a problem? So that nobody wants to play Super Mario Brothers anymore, and they make a better game. We have footage here. What do we have? Okay. Oh no, this is gameplay.
Oh, we have to explore Buckingham.
This looks pretty good.
This looks like a first-gen Xbox.
Ouch.
No, this looks decent.
Yeah.
This guy needs to
doesn't look.
This guy sucks at the game.
It's really bad at editing. It's like nice circular motion you're doing there.
It looks like Xbox games look in kind of the middle generation of the 360.
I think
not
this.
like
I'm sorry. I think this looks pretty good. Look at the lighting and the fire effects there. I think that there's some pretty decent stuff going on in this game. This would not.
Like I said, it's not bad.
But like,
you know,
I will say the characters look like they're kind of like not a ton of polygons on them.
And I don't
cool.
think that has to do with the power of the Wii U. I think that has to do with how much money Ubisoft is willing to invest in a launch title with a new IP on a new system that has new mechanics.
It's a camera shooting a screen.
Oh, I see. So this is but that's fine. I mean, you can still see
There's no generational loss of polygons. When
Yeah.
Camera to screen.
Yeah, the guy was made up of 100 polygons, but when we filmed it with a video camera, he only had 50. Anyhow, I mean, look, there's some cool water effects there on the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, this looks
is
decent.
great.
I would play this and enjoy it. This doesn't look like
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
I'm
taken out
playing
of.
it right now.
I wouldn't be taken out of the experience by seeing this, though. You know, when the 720 and the PlayStation 4 come around,
Yeah.
and they have like what Watch Dogs is like pre those devices. You know, like it's better than Watch Dogs. This is going to look silly.
But I feel like that's been Nintendo's
Yeah.
I mean, this
thing
looks
the whole
pretty good.
time. Is like as long as we're good enough and make fun experience-y games.
Definitely just shot
it'll
that guy
work.
in the ass. I just want to.
But that's what they do. But it's like,
Well, and
Is that-
it worked for a little while with like Wii Sports, and like it's the same thing. My 6 and 5-year-old nephews play just Wii bowling just for days, all
Yeah.
day, but then for anything else, I get bored with that.
can I ask you a
3
Mario
minutes.
Kart related question?
Do
Do you know?
Always.
Because I don't. Maybe
Peach
Chris-
is the fastest in time
Maybe
trials.
you know the
yeah,
answer.
okay.
So I play Mario
Wow.
Kart with my. This is true. I play Mario Kart with my niece, who is 7, who I am better.
Which
at
Mario Kart?
The one for Wii with the wheels.
Okay.
And she is a terrible. She's adorable child, but she hates losing.
Adorable.
Adorable. She hates losing, and so whenever
like
I'm in
her
first
already.
place, she will insist that if I stay in first place for too long, a giant bird will come and kill me. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like,
that true?
This has never happened.
She's
and
making
she's
that
always
up.
like,
Do you believe
you better
that?
watch out because that bird is coming.
She means in the house, right?
So can anyone?
She means in real life.
She's just gonna beat you with the controller when you use a bird.
Her
I don't
father
know.
probably appears in a bird costume.
Jump on me.
Comes like sailing down from the edge of the sofa.
It's like very like. I just
you know what
to
she
be
means,
clear,
Eli?
there's no actual bird
there's
in
a
Mario
shell.
Kart.
No, there's a shell that can hit the first place player, and that shell has wings on it.
Oh.
Oh, well,
That's
so
what
she's
she meant.
right.
That's not a bird though. You need to educate
Oh,
your
better watch
family
out because that
here.
bird
You
will
need to
get
get
you.
her a book. You
That's what she says to me all the
need to get her a book on what birds look like.
They don't look
And-
like
and
turtles
then-
with wings.
Compare. All right, so I think we need to wrap the E3 stuff.
Yeah.
Really quickly, who won E3 this year? Who won? Who's the best?
It's always a horse race.
Yeah.
The correct answer this year is nobody.
Whoever
if I had to
wins,
pick
whoever
somebody-
wins, we lose. I think we could all agree on that.
I would actually pick. Can we get AVP up on the screen? I would actually say I'm going to say Ubisoft. I think Ubisoft.
The game company.
You
you
can't
know,
win if you don't play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a third-party software publisher. I think they kicked off the next-gen discussion in a big way. I think they attracted a huge amount of mind share doing so, and I think they got people really excited for what we're going to see here next year. And they did that with one trailer, which is something that Nintendo wasn't able to do in 4 press conferences.
Yeah.
Do you think
They had that, but they also, like, every single press conference for Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony had a big
Yeah.
Big
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft
Yeah.
presence.
Well, they
Like
had.
big
I mean,
Ubisoft
because they do Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
They do
Yep.
obviously
Splinter
Zombie
Cell.
Splinter Cell, Zombie U.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
I
were
mean,
all over the
Just
place.
Dance.
Yeah.
If you want to murder people while getting down, Ubisoft. Are they ever going to combine
You know, they're-
Assassin's Creed with Just Dance?
You know they're French company.
I have never heard a better definition of the French ever.
That's good. All right. On that note, I think we should wrap up. Any final thoughts? Any final E3 thoughts?
The Last of Us was great. I'm sure you guys have already talked about that.
Yeah, we talked extensively about The Last of Us. By the way, which
Right,
takes
and,
place partially in Pittsburgh, which I'm very excited about. And at one point,
and I saw.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just going to say at one point I was when we went for the presentation, I actually asked the developers why Pittsburgh, because I'm from Pittsburgh, and they were like, it's just a very beautiful city, which it is. I highly recommend you visit. But I was looking at images from I was like freeze framing the intro of the game, trying to figure out where they were in downtown Pittsburgh.
You spent like 3 hours on that the other night.
No,
Like we got home from a Microsoft showcase and we're like, Brian was working on the post about smart glass, and I was kind of chilling and talking with him about it. And Josh was just Googling.
I was like I was like Street View and like trying to position Street View to match the frame so I could figure out like where exactly it was. You know, I have a lot of important stuff I need to do.
Here's my closing thoughts.
I saw the Square Enix Final Fantasy tech demo, which was very beautiful.
Is it?
Just incredibly beautiful. Yeah. My only worry is that just a lot of this next-gen stuff is talking about graphics and not necessarily gameplay, which that's why Watch Dogs sounds really interesting. I never got a chance to see it, but they're really thinking about what a next-gen, more simulated world would be, which I think that's the thing. You get more GPU for more graphics, but you're also going to get a lot more CPU, and so you can do a lot more AI, a lot more of that sort of stuff, and I'm excited about that. You need more RAM to load in that sort of stuff. I'm really excited about that.
Are you taking a bite of Nilay's head? Is that what?
I went the wrong way.
No, you went the right way.
So
Into the
I
head.
just think it's funny because Paul can't see it. And also, Paul's on a phone. Paul's on a phone that looks like one of the free phones that old people have.
Yeah, you mean like
It's because it is one of
You mean
those.
like a what do they call? They're called like they have a name. It's really funny.
It's like a
It's a
jitterbug.
jitterbug.
Oh my god.
Yes. Paul's on his jitterbug.
So-
It makes sense. Yeah.
Here's my last thoughts on E3 before I go and drink more coffee. TheVerge.com/E3. That's it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Go
Go
there.
promotion.
Just all that.
Yeah,
Drop
we
the
have
mic.
an
All of
E3.
it.
We have an E3 hub. All the news that's fit to
No.
Read with your eyes.
publish on the internet
Yeah.
and read. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Paul, are you going to stick around? Oh, Chris, thank you, obviously, for joining us. Paul, are you sticking around for further topics, or are you hitting the road?
What happened this week?
What else do we have?
You wanna talk about it?
It's on our list.
I was thinking about
this guy.
renting a bike and then riding the LA River.
Oh, pad phone. I've okay. We have pad phone to
and then
talk
there's
about.
a bunch of crazy stuff at Computex. like form factor
Computex
stuff.
Oh, I don't. Hey,
Yep.
David, did you go to Computex? I'm aware that David's there because he talked one time.
David
I
is
didn't
here.
go to Computex.
He didn't go.
Sean,
Well,
Hollister,
then
Sam,
forget
and
about
Jeff were there.
Computex.
No, I thought Nate.
And Nate
went.
Ralph.
Oh, and Nate.
Nate Ralph.
Nate's there.
I don't think Jeff went.
Here's what I want to know: is
Ah.
the Galaxy Tab Wacom thing ever happening?
No, because they're going to redo the processor or something.
Pen.
Huh?
Oh,
Ben.
God.
Ben.
Yeah. No.
S
Paul.
Pen. No, don't
Sorry.
worry about it, Paul. Your dreams are still unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Well, although I will say
that's
this.
all from me then.
I've come all the way around to kind of wanting a Galaxy Note 10.1 version 2
I
If
get
they
like
got
30
paper on
minutes.
that thing,
plus.
I don't want to
I would
Galaxy
be
Note. Oh, Galaxy
freaking
Note.
out.
Yeah. The big.
Oh, the big one.
the big one.
I think this is a horrible form factor. I think this is it's too tall. It's too wide. I think this form factor they've been making
the
Android,
16.9.
the 16.9 Android tablet form factor is
Oh, yeah.
is awful. And
Yeah.
every one I've put in my hands, I'm like, I don't want to hold it like this, and I don't want to hold it like this because they're both ridiculous. I want to put it down and get my iPad.
Yeah.
You know, and like this is a real problem. Like they don't seem to understand that like this doesn't work that well. And Microsoft is doing the same thing. All the stuff they showed at Computex is 16:9. I get it. You want to hit the aspect ratio, but I'd rather have black bars and something that's comfortable to hold.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sorry. Game over. DOA.
No,
Wow.
apologize to me. I'm going to take off.
Bye.
Okay, Paul, thank you for joining us as always, but you'll be back next
Yep.
week when we
Well, I'm going to be in Chicago next week.
Yeah, Nilay's getting married. I don't know what's going on with the Vergecast next week.
I'll do it live from the wedding.
It'll be
I may be
pretty
doing it live from the wedding, which Becky will love. I
Yeah.
think.
live
do it.
from the wedding.
I'll do it
Sorry,
on top of my
Becky. I
elephant.
know we're about to seal our nuptials here, whatever you do to them.
A flamethrower.
Yeah, put them in some sort of, I don't know. Anyhow, but I just have to do this Vergecast. Okay, go ahead, Paul. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, later, guys.
Godspeed.
Have a good
Can
one.
I say that Becky just immediately IM'd me to say that we will not podcast.
It would be
Instantly
fun.
popped
It
up
would
on
be
my
fun.
screen.
We'll all be there on Friday. It might be fun to do it from the hotel room or something.
You guys can.
Live.
Here,
Live
take
from
this.
Nilay Patel's
this.
wedding.
Maybe
The
I'll-
Vergecast, Chicago.
That's ridiculous. All right, David.
I'm just gonna
tell
take-
us what you're holding.
I'm just gonna relax now.
Yeah.
I'm really like, dude, I have nothing to say about the pad phone.
I have a lot of things to say.
I mean, I hate the pad.
Tell us what it is.
Wait, I want to know why you hate the pad. Okay, so the pad.
Okay,
Wait,
I'm going to tell you why. I hate the
Okay.
pad
Let me
phone.
just. There's like I can intro in 30 seconds. Here's the pad phone. It is this phone. It's a phone.
The phone is okay.
The phone, yeah, it's not bad.
Kind of reminds me of the G2X.
Yeah, I can see that. But it's like, it feels all right. And then there's this big tablet which does exactly nothing until you slide the phone inside, and then it just becomes a tablet.
Hey, until you slide the phone inside.
Until you slide the phone inside.
There's that eject situation.
Can we get this on video, folks?
It's like you kind of feel like you're breaking
Can we
it
get
every
him?
time.
Can we
You
get
just
him on a
in
video
and-
doing this? This is the Asus
This
pad phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it.
Okay. Let me explain to you in case you don't know what it is. Okay.
God.
It is a phone and a tablet screen, and the phone goes inside the tablet screen, and then it becomes a tablet.
Yeah, but the tablet is basically just a big.
The tablet doesn't do anything on its own.
Right.
It's
Just a big battery.
It's a battery.
Yeah.
It's a battery and a screen. And
There it is.
here it is. It runs Ice Cream Sandwich with Asus modifications.
Yeah, they changed the font.
They changed the font and they
that looks
changed
like
some
Helvetica.
other
And
stuff.
it's like little things.
It's
They
just
have
enough. It's just
They made the
enough.
new
icons taller.
notification thing.
Very useful.
Yeah. They made a horrible notification window.
So tell us about it. Let me see this thing.
So it's a weird
Here it is,
concept.
folks.
Like I love the concept
Well,
of
it
this.
kind of looks like the iPhone.
It kind of
From the
does,
side,
yeah.
yeah.
So I got like irrationally excited about the Motorola Atrix way back when.
So did I. We all did. Everyone did.
Because it's I still think it's a great
I
idea.
like this
And-
notification window. What are you talking about?
It's too much stuff.
No, I think it's great. I'm a
This
big
is
fan.
great. Brightness right there.
You're right. It's good. Look at this.
But the thing is, like, as a phone, it's not bad. There's nothing really exciting, and it's kind of a crappy screen. But it's a fine
bad
phone.
resolution. Right?
What's it?
Right.
What's the resolution?
The other one, QHD.
Yeah, it's QHD. It's 960 by 540. Yeah. But otherwise it's a good phone. It has the S4 processor and it's super fast and works pretty well. But then you put it into this, and I agree about the aspect ratio. I think it's the worst. And then it becomes like this is really heavy even without anything inside because it doesn't do anything currently, but it's still really heavy.
Well, it's 'cause
And
they put a massive battery.
well, yeah, it's giant. And
think they
like
can put a
literally,
smaller
this
battery?
thing I've had this thing for like a week and a half now. I've charged it one time, and that was only because I ran our battery test. So I killed it.
What does watch calendar mean?
That is a really terrific question.
I mean, this is like, well, of course, I mean, this isn't for the U.S. market.
No,
I mean, it's not.
it might be someday,
No,
but probably not.
I have a long rant, by the way, about how this product is like exemplifies everything that's wrong with like U.S. carriers, because they should just sell this in the U.S. market.
Well,
Try it out and see if it works. and
what's your
let
reasoning?
people try to buy it.
What is your reasoning behind that?
I guarantee you, AT&T is like, no, we're not selling.
This- I've
Why
seen
not
this-
though? Why wouldn't
The
AT&T
screen,
be
the screen
excited?
does
about
feel
that?
very cramped.
Yeah, because
It-
you're totally used to
That's
to
what
HD.
that's what this is for.
No, right. When you need a bigger screen.
So if you think like this concept is generally the future,
So wait, you could talk on the pen. Is that true?
yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
Shut
also-
up.
There's
Are
this
you
guy.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Hello.
This is ridiculous.
This kinda
This
works
is
for
the
you,
worst set
actually.
of products. This is the most ridiculous set of products ever. Yeah, that's cool. That looks great.
This pen is ridiculous. How do you charge it? You have to plug it into a USB port.
Yeah.
Does it have like a thing?
That's amazing.
Oh my god. Why? This is so cramped.
All right, David, the future. Why is it the future?
Well, so I love the idea of like having all my data in one place and all my files and all my like I paid Dropbox way too much money to keep all my crap everywhere I want it to be, and even that is kind of a like weird clunky system. But this is like I have everything, all my
Get that away
apps,
from me.
all whatever I want in one place, and then it's like, oh, if I need a keyboard, I just pop it into a keyboard, and if I need a bigger screen, I just pop it into a bigger screen. But like. So with the Atrix, I got all excited because I decided like they're gonna have these in coffee shops, and you just go like plop it down and work.
Yeah.
And-
Starbucks is gonna just be like,
Yeah.
hey, Motorola.
yeah.
And
Actually,
for some reason,
Let's do this because
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be carrying the Atrix.
right? And I got really excited about that, but the Atrix like didn't really work well at all. At all.
Yeah. I thought as a phone it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Early.
Yeah.
Early
it
on,
got
my
really
experience
bad.
with it was excellent, and then it just got worse and worse. as
Well, that
time
was the
went
case
on.
with all Android phones for a long time. It
Yeah.
just got worse and worse
Yeah.
as it went on. But with this, it's like, and again, it works fine as a phone, and it's kind of a crappy tablet. And then
luckily we don't have to actually have to be confronted with trying to buy it here in America.
True.
Does that come with
It's just
it?
such
The little.
a crazy.
Can I see the pen?
It's just such a crazy idea. The fact that it exists is
And
wild.
this comes
to me.
with it. Hello.
Yeah. I mean, just the worst.
Hello. Are you there? Excuse me. I gotta take a call. Yeah. No, I'm not just holding a pen up to my head. This is a real call.
You look totally normal.
Yeah,
I'm not just literally holding a Sharpie
does that
up to
thing
my
stay
head
paired to
and
this, or does it
pretending-
pair to this?
This to
So
me
you can
is
pair
like
it
if I saw
manually.
someone doing this, I would be like, "Are you? I get you don't want to talk to me right now. You don't have to pretend to talk on a
talking
pen.
on your pen.
Sorry, I'm really busy. I got to take this. It's kind of just give me 1 minute. It's a very pretty important call. Yeah. Hello. Hello. I think he hung up on me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Is this working? This doesn't seem to be. What's going on with this? Hello.
Wait, so is it paired with the phone or the tablet?
So it pairs automatically.
There
with
is
the-
no tablet.
No,
It
but there
can't-
is.
It can't pair with the tablet.
It pairs with the tablet.
Well, so yeah, when you put it in, it
there's
just
no radios in
automatically.
there.
Yeah. Well, no. So it's a software thing. It just knows to automatically pair as soon as you put it into the tablet. But you can pair these two
Excuse me.
manually.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a call. Can you guys quiet down for a second? Seriously. Hello? Yes? No, yes. Oh yeah, I can make that. No problem. Do you mind? I'm on
Why are you
I'm on
holding
the
it
phone.
so far from
Well, I have a
Right, so you definitely can't hear anything that's on it.
I'm on the
You're not
phone.
selling it, man.
Excuse me, Nilay. I'm on the phone right now, and you're interrupting this call that I'm on with this actual phone, and it's upsetting to me. I'm gonna have to go. I got a real problem here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Goodbye. You hang it up by slamming it, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, this is great.
So this leads right into basically, David, what'd you say? What do we?
This leads right
Thank
into.
you. This is,
Sorry.
See,
Welcome to the
he's not
Vergecast.
passed. he's
you
not
really
passed-
want a Galaxy Note
He's not
10.1.
passed out drunk. Yeah, go ahead.
Real Meverse situation.
Go ahead.
Well, no, so this is like great, but we said it was kind of a demo.
Yeah, it's like it's
Nobody should buy it.
So like with the Atrix, it just couldn't power all the stuff it had to power, and now it almost feels like it can, but there's still some stuff that's just not.
And
totally
you want?
there.
But so
And
did
it's
you feel
expensive.
cool carrying around a dead tablet with you in case you wanted to like go into tablet mode?
Yes.
Really?
Not nearly as cool as I felt
Look,
talking on a pen
David,
while I walk down the street.
David, is it just don't pussyfoot, okay? Buy it or don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Well, you can't buy it.
Buy it or don't buy it.
No, so here
I
I
don't
feel
Buy this pen.
I don't want to hear your even tempered.
Is this the best iPad
I don't want to hear
stylus in the market?
I don't want to hear your.
Can you
even,
pair this with an iPhone and then use it as an iPad
Ellis
stylus?
Hamburger said it's pretty okay.
David?
Nice.
I don't want to hear your even keeled description of what it's like.
This is the worst piece of crap I've ever seen in
wanna
my
hear-
entire life.
I need an opinion because opinions are real and important. Okay, and you got to have one.
If you have a
Kill
billion
it,
dollars,
kill it or don't kill it. Set it on fire or don't set it on fire.
set it on fire.
Let me ask you something. Which is the
on
best?
fire.
Which is the best? I want you to
Which
tell
phone
me,
should I
can you
buy?
tell me which one is the best? Which one wins? iOS or Android? Could you tell me that
Oh my
information,
God.
please?
Uh,
I need
Migo.
a fact.
Migo.
A factual.
I'm a Tizen fan,
I need a
to be
factual
honest.
opinion from you.
I hear good things about Tizen.
Tizen's where it's at.
Limo Foundation
Yeah.
or whatever
Hey,
it's called.
hey, Alien, Predator. Which one? Do you, which one?
So let's talk about this. Leads
tried to
right
see
into what was
Prometheus
going on
last
at
night.
Conference.
Shut up! Don't talk
It's a
about it.
disaster.
Do not talk to
No,
me about Prometheus.
wait, can I just tell a really quick story?
Did you-
I didn't see
did
the
you call
I
it
will
the
dive
Iron
across
Defense?
this
I
table
swear to you,
and kill you.
I
I will
will spoil-
strangle you to death.
I will spoil nothing. So I go to the movie theater. We're gonna see it at 12:01. We get there at
Please
like
stop talking about Prometheus.
just
go ahead.
Just we get there at like 10:00. We get there at like 10:15, right? Because
Spoiler
we're
alert.
nerds, want to be first.
Spoiler alert.
And we show up. We sit down. 12:01 comes. We watch like 5 trailers, and then up comes Windows 97 saying your active desktop has crashed.
You got to be kidding me.
Swear to you, I'm not lying. And so
Shut up.
It just crashed. It just broke
Are
and
you
died.
serious?
So we sit there and
Windows 97, by the way.
Wait, is that powering the
know.
digital projector?
Yeah, I'm just
Windows-
a product reviewer at the
old
Verge.
Windows.
Yeah.
They should
whatever.
They should put Linux on there.
Limo Foundation. Tizen.
Yeah. No, but so it's
You tell me Windows crashed, you couldn't
so
watch Prometheus.
Windows crashed and we couldn't watch Prometheus. And so it comes up, they were like dealing with this for like 20 minutes. And they're like, okay, we're going to play it in another theater. There's a 12:40 showing. You can just go take that one over.
Sure.
So we go, we watch all the trailers again, and it crashes again. Same error message, same
it-
thing.
can you zoom
Yes,
in on the
this
image?
is what happened.
We have the image.
Wow.
So I ended up, I'm at this theater for 4 hours. I watched
So it's
all the
4
trailers twice.
Oh my God.
It's
Keep
now
going.
like
Keep
2:30 in the
going.
morning. I got there at 10. and I still have not seen Prometheus.
Keep going, getting closer.
Wow.
That was my midnight showing of Prometheus.
No, it's really good. The alien looks terrible.
Is this Windows?
You can really see the fear in Numi Rapace's
There it is.
eyes.
Yeah, it is a pre-XP version of Windows. That's all I know. I've
Wow.
blocked out which one.
Windows 97.
Windows 97.
How did that happen?
I have no idea. It was remarkable, though.
I mean, how did that happen? Where's that system? Who invented that?
That's the digital projection system that they're all using.
So they built
using
it.
on
They built it
Windows.
in like 97.
Well, they're like
Windows
it's stable.
97.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, real stable.
It's super stable.
Really super
And
stable.
it broke twice. It was the most depressing
Maybe
thing
it was
ever.
the "I love you" virus, or whatever it is.
Our chat's like they should have used Metro. That'd be cool.
Swipe past it.
All right, you want to talk about Computex? Because this, to me, this is what's going on at Computex, right? It's all of the companies who are building Windows 8
U-books.
in Metro.
Oh, you mean
They're
pad phone?
they're building stuff that's like a pad phone. They're building tablets that turn into netbooks.
No, but they're the
building
same. But they're the
folding.
same thing.
They're sort of. I mean, it's because the
But like
operating system
one thing's
enables
not a
it
shell and the other's not the brains. It's like their Windows 8 is a tablet and laptop OS.
No, but I'm saying, to me, they're playing with form factors in a way that.
Playing with fire is what they're
Yeah,
doing.
well, no, I mean, Asus and Acer used to play with form factor left and right,
Yeah.
and they kind of stopped doing it for a while. And now it's like the pad phone is one thing. All of the Windows 8 stuff is insane. What's the Tai Chi?
Yeah.
With the screens on both sides of the lid.
It's wild. I mean, and like
It doesn't seem useful.
I like that. What
But
was
I
the,
like that it's there.
I like that Acer, I think, was it? Or Asus, the one with the big, like kind of chunky white dock, looks really futuristic.
Which one's that?
It's either Acer or
Asus. The two
Asus.
companies that showed a lot of
They
stuff.
are like, yeah. Is that it? They have it on screen there? I don't know if that's it. It's got a big white. It's almost like no, that's not it. This is the Tai Chi, which is definitely cool. But there was one that had actually a very like almost like a Prometheus-y looking, like very like sci-fi-ish looking dock. It's called the Acer Wonder Dock.
The Acer Wonder
The Acer
Dock.
PC. Wonder Dock PC. I should, by the way, Wonder is spelled Oneder.
Oh, yeah.
The Acer Wonder Dock PC 8X. I'm just naming randomly naming products now. That's not it. That's a lady. I can see what they're looking at. Anyhow, let's take some calls. Did you see anything at Computex, Windows 8, that you liked?
Yeah.
You've read our coverage, I assume. Call in 888-418-4074. Would love to hear your thoughts. Frankly, you can talk about whatever you want, but I'd love to hear if you saw something in Computex that gave you a thrill,
Yeah, we've got a big list.
a feeling of excitement. 888-418-4074. Call in, tell us what you're thinking about right now. It doesn't have to be about Computex.
you can tell me how bad you feel that I didn't get to see Prometheus.
You
last
can
night.
talk about Prometheus. No.
You
no,
cannot
no,
talk
no,
about
no.
Prometheus.
If you say a single word about Prometheus, the call will end.
Josh will come to your home and find you.
I will find you. And I will end you. I will snap you like a twig. And then I will use that twig for kindling. And then I will take the ashes from the twig and I will shoot them with a laser. And I will take whatever remaining from the laser and I will put it in a capsule and I will eject it into space, into the sun. Okay?
This sounds like one of those DirecTV commercials where it's like, don't get ejected into space. Get DirecTV.
Right. Don't mention Prometheus to me. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the air saying nothing about Prometheus. What do you want to talk about? Computex? What's up? Who are you? What's your name?
Hey guys, it's Dave here.
Hey Dave, how are you?
What up?
Good, thanks. Hey guys. So yeah, the one that I saw that I'm really excited about, and I can't wait to get is the Asus running on WinRT.
Which one is it?
It's Asus, Asus.
Oh yeah, no, it's Asus.
Yeah.
But it's running WinRT. And there's a video floating on YouTube, which is a demo of it's part laptop. It's part laptop and part tablet. You've got the tablet and
we
you
have that, David?
basically dock it to a keyboard.
Yeah. Do we have that on the
I
site?
think that's insane.
I think so.
I think we must. And why are you excited about it?
Well, first of all, it's ARM, so the battery life.
Right.
I want the long battery life. I'm not interested in Intel. I mean, I haven't seen Clover Trail yet, but and I haven't seen anything working in Clovertail. But being ARM, long battery life, the fact that I can, because I do use Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. So being able to dock and use it with a mouse and keyboard, that's, I think, the killer feature for me.
Are you at all concerned about the fact that you're basically starting from scratch with? I mean, you're not going to be using any other Windows apps essentially that you've ever used before. You have Office, and then does it concern you that you'll basically be starting over and it's going to be all Metro stuff?
Not really. I think that it's going to pick up pretty fast, faster than actually Windows Phone. I think I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I do own another laptop and I do own an iPad, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Right.
And most of the things that I own, all the apps that I own on the iPad are games that I could live without them.
Right.
And I just love the Metro UI and the Metro apps, and I can see it picking it up. And I love the new Bing apps, the sports app, the news app, the finance apps, and all those. And there are a couple of games that I could play. So
yeah. Well, that's very interesting. And do they say when that'll be? Well, obviously they didn't say because Windows 8 has to come out, but we're guessing around October, right?
Yeah, nobody's really coming up with a date.
Did they say price point? Did they talk about price point for that device?
I don't think so.
Yeah. What do you think it's going to be? It's got to be less than an Intel, right?
Probably it's got to be less than an Intel, yes. But the fact that it has a keyboard and it's stocked, I would say it's going to be in the range of like $500 to $700.
I mean, if it's any more than $700, is this it here? The tablet 600?
Well, it replaces a laptop. I mean, like people are complaining about it. If it's more than $400, it's not worth it. I mean, it's as good as a laptop.
It's a hard sell though if you're going against the iPad. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like it is, if it's replacing a laptop, totally makes sense. I guess the question is like the value proposition will be, look, you can get a laptop and an iPad, or you can spend ultimately less money and get the best of both worlds. That's like kind of going to be how they're selling these things.
Yeah,
right?
that's the pitch.
You're going to have the tablet, and you're going to have this great laptop, traditional laptop experience.
Right. For me, I don't want to think about which device should I take if I'm going on vacation, or which device should I take if I'm going into a meeting. I just want to think about one device. I don't want to think about, should I carry my iPad with my keyboard, or should I carry my laptop, which is pretty heavy? So I just want to think about one device, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Right.
So see, it's this concept.
All right, cool. We're moving on. Thanks so much for calling in. We're going to take another caller here.
But it seems like
caller, you're on the line. What are your thoughts? What is your name? I don't talk about.
Oh, my name is Renal. It was pretty. I saw a Tai Chi and I thought it was pretty cool, but it kind of struck me like a pad phone. It was like, is anyone really gonna that's not really gonna happen?
I mean, I'll say this. So I travel quite a bit, and I use my laptop on the plane. And I also bring my iPad, and it would be really great to be able to have a very discreet, like, I've got my iPad essentially, and I've got this very discreet trackpad keyboard component for it that does not take up a ton of room, doesn't take up as much as a laptop, and I can be in either state if I want without having to take two different devices. That to me is a pretty exciting idea.
Yeah, but the Tai Chi is like the folding two screen.
Right, the Tai Chi is the one that flips over.
It's Intel and
it doesn't the Transformers. Those seemed a lot more like those seem real. Like I would get one of those. Like if it wasn't like $1 billion, I'd totally get one of those.
Right. I think that's like the place where I personally feel like the ARM devices that are the detachable, like they do basically dual duty and they're detachable. You don't end up with the same, like, I have to flip this or fold this or bend. It's like I can have it one way or have the other. Like that to me is actually a really enticing. That to not have to browse the internet using an iPad browser all the time.
Right.
To be able to have like what is essentially a full browser with a trackpad and a keyboard in a full computing environment, not like this sort of partial one like that. I could see that obviating my need for taking both things.
Yeah, that was my epiphany.
So, I mean, like I'm a student, and like basically that's kind of like the thing is like, okay, I can use an iPad for fun. I'm just like chilling, but like I just can't see myself typing. I mean, I have a 10-page essay due today. I cannot see myself writing that thing on an iPad. And that's why I really love the Transformer.
And even the iPad keyboards that people are making, they're they leave a lot to be desired. There's some okay ones out there, but the things where you can kind of dock the iPad and it's still like
Yeah. Well, you're talking about the Logitech.
like the Logitech. There's a couple of other variations.
See, here's the thing. Here's the question. I think that we're rapidly coming to a place where you have to kind of decide, do you have multiple devices that have overlapping, redundant capabilities? Or do you have one thing that fulfills multiple different form factor kind of experiences?
One true device.
Right? And the pad phone is like one. Really, you think it's one? I don't know.
I think it's two.
You think it's two?
I think it's two for
well,
a
I mean,
long
not
time.
something as not something like crazy as a pad phone, but I mean, like, if you have a transformer, to me, it's not really that much different from, like, I don't know, having a laptop and, you know, putting in an external mouse. It's kind of the same concept, just a little bit higher level. I mean, I definitely get what Josh is saying about the keyboard. I mean, like, that's why I bought, like, a ThinkPad X1, because the keyboard's, like, amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't live without a good keyboard, you know, it's really productive. And so that's why the transformers are pretty exciting, but I mean, they don't really they seem so clunky. I mean, they just, I don't know, like the execution on like the conversion is it's just terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
But the operating system isn't.
Well, right, that's
not made for that.
You can't, it's hard to get mad at companies like Asus for like not being good at like the software.
Right.
Because they're not software companies. They clearly.
Well, no. I actually mean the hardware. I mean, like not so much the fact that like to me it just doesn't seem that seamless when you like, you know, transform it. You know,
it doesn't make the noise, is what you're saying. If it made the noise, would it seem more seamless? If it was like
no. I mean, like it just seems like a huge ordeal to put it in and take it out. It's not like okay, when you have an iPad and you put on, you know, your little smart cover, that just to me is so seamless. Like, why can't we have something so seamless when you transform your tablet to a notebook?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, you just want that. Like, I'm not saying that, like...
Apple needs to make
I'm
something.
Not mad at
If only Apple could make something. That would be, like, the hardware was really good.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we'll see something. You never know. You never know, man. Monday's WWDC.
Yeah.
You might be switching. All right, we're going to move on.
Thanks. My hopes up.
Thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
You want to take some WWDC prediction calls?
Let's do that. Because I think we need to wrap up pretty soon. I don't know what time it is, but let's say, okay, caller. Hold on, we have one more caller. I don't know what you were. Caller, you're on the line. Hi. Hello?
Hello?
Well, you might want to mute us in the background if you can.
No, turn us up.
No, don't listen to him. What's your name and what are you calling about?
Hello?
Hello?
Hola.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's your name and what are you calling about?
Oh, my name's Sean. I'm talking about Windows 8.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I don't see consumers actually going to that at all. I just feel like it's like they're trying to do too much.
You think so? You think it's gonna be? You think it'll be confusing to consumers that they'll look at it and go, like, "What is this thing supposed to be?"
Exactly. And just looking at it, I'm all like, okay, you want to do Aero or Metro, whatever they call it, put it on the tablet.
Right.
You want to do Windows, put it on the desktop.
Right.
And try to put all these things together. I'm be honest. Consumers are stupid. I used to work at Best Buy. I know how consumers pick stuff, how to look at things.
And I quote, consumers are stupid.
I used to work at Best Buy.
That was true. I think your point is that a lot of people go into the store and they don't know what they want. And they don't really understand.
Well,
how
they're
stuff
not
works.
really dumb. I don't know what I'm talking about. But they go in there just not knowing what's going on.
Right.
And if you go in there trying to buy these things and nobody knows what they're doing, what they're talking about, they're not going to sell well.
Right.
Right.
And I used to, like I said, I used to work at Best Buy. I quit there after like 2 months. Nobody in there knew what they was talking about.
Don't you
New
think
product comes along?
But don't you think Microsoft will be doing like a ton of outreach and saying, look, when somebody comes in the store and they're looking at the iPad, you can say, oh, check this out. You can get the best of the iPad, like all this tablet stuff, plus you can have a full laptop. Like, don't you feel like they're going to be pushed to sell it like that?
It could. But
I mean,
I don't know, man. Microsoft ain't really all that great at approaching new concepts and stuff.
That is true. I mean, they're a little slow to evolve sometimes. They got the Xbox right.
Yeah, but it took them 2 generations.
It took them 2 generations,
Or
but
360
Quite honestly,
generations.
I think the only reason people got Xbox is because of Halo.
I mean, Halo helped. Halo helped, that's for sure.
I'm gonna, yeah.
What?
I like that he beeped at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like emphatically.
So
beeped.
you're not interested in getting one when they come out. You're not going to get one,
I mean, I'm not gonna. I like to try it out first
right?
to see what it does, how. Wait,
let me ask you a question. What do you have right now? What
Yeah.
laptop do you have?
What are you
tablet?
using right
what
now?
I got 2 things. I don't have a laptop. I got an iPad and I got an iMac desktop.
Nice. That's an interesting combo. What kind? You have an iPhone?
Yeah, I got the iPhone as
So
well.
you're all Apple. You have all Apple stuff.
Well, man, I don't have all Apple stuff. I got a few desktops here and there. A couple of
But not like, but not like your daily. But your daily.
Use every now and then.
But your daily driver is not any Microsoft product.
No.
So do you feel like you might have a? Do you feel like you might be?
You're ready.
Do you feel like you might be?
Be careful, man.
Do you feel like you might be predisposed to not want to get a
you're walking
Microsoft product?
dangerous
Well, it's not a
line.
fine line. I mean,
It's like you've internalized all the hate, and now
no,
you're like
I mean,
sending it back out.
in all honesty, no. I mean, how many? No. What I'm saying is, how many Mac users are going like, yeah, I may switch to Windows now
I
because
think
of
a lot,
Windows 8.
actually.
I don't disagree. I think you're crazy. I think no Mac user is going, I'm going to switch to Windows now because of Windows 8. Oh, you think?
No,
I kid you not. I will.
I'm not saying
Like, I want a Windows laptop
at all.
I know you want one, but you're going to switch it as your main. You're asking me your main device.
Depending on how
yeah,
much they
that's
improve.
That's what I
until-
thought. That's what I thought.
But the money switch over.
You're not going to fully switch over.
Oh no. But like I said though.
No, that would be
I'm
crazy.
just saying. You know, if you're in the ecosystem, you don't suddenly go, I'm jumping ship, especially in the Mac ecosystem, which is, pretty good.
Yeah.
The products work pretty well.
Right.
The iPad is really a great tablet.
Every time I plug in my iPad and iTunes opens, I'm like, yes, I love this ecosystem. It's my favorite.
you
You're like,
immediately
I'm in
close
this.
iTunes.
Yes.
I'm in the rainforest, the Apple rainforest.
Well, cause I was judging from what I saw, because I was on the Verge, I was looking at all the little stuff. They had one where he's like, it's a keyboard and a laptop. You can fold it, make it like a laptop. I'm like, I'm looking at some of these things like, didn't Microsoft try to do this stuff before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't have Windows 8, which is going to be the real difference because it's made
Right,
for it.
right.
It's made for a tablet. But yeah, remember Dell is trying this again where they make the screen that flips around.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get it right.
I gotta
this
say,
time.
whenever Dell does the form factor innovation, it's
Gives you
always
chills.
Like, why?
Gives you
Dell?
chills. All right, caller, thank you so much for calling in. We're going to take some more calls. Thanks a lot,
Well,
though.
there's 2 things we need to talk about. Bye, Sean.
Yeah.
It's nice talking to you.
Sean's gone.
We had a huge story that we have completely.
Yeah, no, I actually just looked at Twitter and I realized that I'm being berated by people who think that we're a liberal leftist rag.
Oh, the
you
Romney.
talking about
thing.
Romney? You
I
talking about
wasn't
the Romney
talking-
thing?
I was not talking about the Romney thing. We can talk about the Romney.
People were like, so we ran a story. Sorry, what's the other story?
Well,
the WebOS story.
The WebOS story,
Oh my
the Romney
God.
story, and the fact that HTC may or may not be denied Windows RT.
Oh my God, there's so many stories. Let's since I brought it up, let's
Yeah.
talk about this quickly. So Joe Flatley, who wrote the original Scam World piece, which exposed the underbelly of internet scamming, wrote a follow-up story today, and literally,
Yeah.
this company called Prosper Inc., which is like one of the largest boiler rooms in America. Now, boiler rooms are where all these high-pressure sales happen that get people into like getting scammed.
Mm-hmm.
They are holding fundraisers. They're like big
They're huge
contributors. They hold like
Also,
$5,000.
the connection is the more specific connection is that they're all in Utah.
Well, they're all in Utah.
They're all in Utah,
and they're tied to
the Utah political establishment, which
is tied to Mormonism,
Right,
and tied
and
to
Mitt Romney.
And if you read the article, which by the way, a bunch of people who wrote to me on Twitter clearly didn't, they're like, it's not even mentioned. This headline's misleading. It's not even mentioned in the article. It's like, well, your reading comprehension sucks if you don't see where it's mentioned in the article, because towards the end of the article, we bring it all together to talk about how you guys are basically holding $5,000 plate dinners. The guys who run Prosper Inc. are holding $5,000 plate dinners for Mitt Romney. They're giving him money for his campaign, which I think is really interesting. I mean, look, believe me, well, I'm sure we could dig up some dirt. I mean, we weren't going looking for it. This stuff comes from, the fact that it was related it was a complete surprise to us.
Yeah.
And it's actually where this started was a bunch of people reached out to us after the first Scam World and were like, I have more information. Do you guys want to hear about this? People came out of the woodwork wanting to talk about it.
And that's actually one of the more interesting things about doing any sort of investigative piece that we do.
Yeah.
Because we have to run around with like ideas and like dig and push, and then as soon as we or any journalist like shines a light, people are like, "Oh my god, I have so much to tell you about it."
I mean, here's
and that's
a tweet.
like kind of the point.
Here's a tweet that I just got. That is a disgrace to journalism. Pathetic clickbait. Here's another one. Good read, scam of a headline. Why is the Romney connection even mentioned? Why is it even mentioned? Yeah, there's no reason we would want to mention that a gigantic scam organization is also funding presidential candidates. That's not leftist lean or trolling for clicks. That's not a question. That's a statement. Wow, that is some shady journalism. I expect better from you, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know us.
And it's your fault,
Just
personally.
shady. Just trying to be shady.
Yeah.
You did it.
Clickbait.
But read the article.
Have you seen my new slideshow? I'm posting tomorrow?
RTFA.
Top 10 babes with Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
Babes with Mitt.
But anyhow, so that's one
Watch
big story
this.
that we ran
So
this
many
week.
babes.
What are the comments like on this? Is it a mess? Is it nasty?
162.
I mean,
the first one is, Joe didn't attempt to veil his agenda.
Yes, that's right. His agenda to take down Romney.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, man. Politics.
A guy with a Canadian flag icon who says he went to school in Utah.
Politics.
Yeah.
The most dangerous,
This is what I would have expected from Gawker Media.
deadliest, and
I think,
sexiest game.
Like, I always thought Android versus iOS was scary, but like politics is so much worse.
Yeah. I mean,
You know
what?
communists use Android.
It's a different.
I've heard that before.
It's a different kind of commenter that gets riled up over politics.
True.
I think. Anyhow, so that's one thing we read. But
And can I just say this? I'm gonna. No, I mean, look, it's an election year. There's a huge.
we have callers waiting on the line.
There's a huge amount of. I mean, the government is like they're like, oh my god, the internet. They know it's there. We're going to do a lot more. This will
not be the last story you read on The Verge about politics.
And we're going to ramp it up as the election season enters.
This story isn't about politics, but what I thought was most striking about this story is how far it goes. That is the point of the headline, and that is the point of mentioning Mitt Romney in this story, which is Prosper Inc. is a large entity that has ties that are very big, important ties to very big, important people. And they're also part of a business that is essentially illegal. I mean, is a crime. It's a criminal organization. And what they do to people is criminal.
Right. Not only do they make tons of money off of people, but they like wield real influence.
Right, exactly.
In other stuff.
And that should scare the shit out of everybody, honestly, when you think about it. You should be scared that it goes that far. Mitt Romney shouldn't be taking money from boiler rooms. That's what I think. Of course, I think, we should have way more reasonable campaign spending because it's completely, both on Obama and Romney, the amount of money they spend and the way it's done is, I think we have it all wrong in this country. That's just one man's opinion.
Did our chat room just explode?
One man who will be getting shot to death as soon as he leaves the studio.
It's a really rough thing. I mean, like, the
crazy.
Citizens United verdict that said corporations can fund whatever. It's like change the nature of campaigning.
Yeah.
But, the flip side of it is it's not a bad argument. I mean, you tell people how they can spend their money.
Right.
You are telling people how they can exercise their right to free speech.
It's free speech, sure.
And I don't.
I think the way to do it is to end outside contributions to campaigns.
So to just say
you can't.
The state will give you the money.
Corporations and people can't contribute to. Yeah, literally set aside money. I would pay money in my tax dollars.
There's public
to
financing.
say set aside X amount of dollars. Each candidate gets this. Mm-hmm. Determine obviously it would be. You'd look at inflation and things and figure out what seems reasonable based on past campaigns. We're getting way in the weeds here. We're getting into a dangerous, scary political place. I mean, right now there are so many people penning emails to me about how I'm a socialist. It's not even funny.
I just tweeted at you about it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Anyhow, so then the other big story we had this week, huge story, WebOS Inside. This is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Sorry,
we have callers on the line. What do you want to do with these callers?
I want the callers to talk about WWDC.
They're waiting.
Yeah.
Let's do WWDC right now.
Sure.
And then we'll talk about WebOS. Yeah. And then we'll touch on HTC and then we'll wrap.
Yeah.
Which will be in 5 hours. All right. Paul, you're on the line. Sorry for keeping you waiting. WWDC? WWDC predictions?
Yep.
Is that why you're calling?
Yeah, so
What do you got?
I put out a blog post recently with like my top 5 wants for WWDC. Some of them are pretty obvious, but some of them might be worth discussing.
What are they? Let's hear them. Go down the list.
I won't. All right, so 5, I presume Siri Fix is just an obvious thing. It's going to be probably on all platforms, right? iPhone, iPad, and desktop eventually.
iOS 6, yeah.
iOS 6,
Oh, Siri.
yeah.
You're asking Siri is going to be on the platform.
Siri, yeah. Siri
Yeah.
Fixed.
I think maybe.
And just being completely stable. Yeah.
I mean, I think Siri on the iPad. There's been some leaks. I buy it.
I think it's possible. Why not?
And 4 was, and I remember you guys talking about this, I think, a week or 2 ago, about the mail client for iOS, since they can't really default, Sparrow or something like that, to do completely everything that the client does. Maybe they'll think about making fewer steps every time you're trying to access something on the mail app.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could just get an attachment by clicking an attachment icon and asking, saying which attachment do you want to put in here? That would be amazing.
The worst, yeah.
Okay.
You're breaking up a little. Hang on.
No, you're breaking up.
We're all breaking up.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think the worst part is when I'm on like listservs or something, and I have 2 messages from a single listserv. I feel like I have to go through 4 steps just to hear what someone says. And that drives me crazy on the mail app. First is Gmail on Android.
Yeah. All right, number 3. What's number 3?
So, Apple TV UI, this is actually not really something I'm expecting. It's kind of a question I raised. As I was writing it, I realized I was just asking the question. Would they really show off UI without any kind of hardware to unveil with it? Because it seems like anything less might be a proof of concept.
It would never happen. No, they might update the existing Apple TV UI, but Josh and I were talking about it on the way over here. Yeah, like in February, March, right?
Sorry, the guy responded to me who said that said the connection was tenuous. I'm sorry, I hate to break up your list here. He said the connection was tenuous, but he agrees on the financing. I don't think it's a tenuous connection at all. It's a direct connection.
Anyway, continue.
Continue.
4.
No. He's on number 2 now. He's counting down.
Oh, you're counting down.
You're counting down, right?
2.
You're on number 2. Number 2.
In that list, 3 is a confusing one to hear.
Wait, what was? Okay, right. Number 2.
Dose.
It's 2, yeah. So, number 2 is, this might be at WWDC, but maybe it'll be something related to an announcement they make that will be like a subsequent presentation on the campus, like they did with the iOS roadmap back in iOS 2, I think, or iOS 3, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
No, they did it.
I was thinking maybe they'll do an OS 10 roadmap presentation. I mean, because we only have 2 versions of OS 10 left before it becomes what?
OS.
No,
they'll just add another.
They can just do it. They can just start calling it OS 10 again. I mean,
right.
No, I don't. So I disagree with you. I don't think they'll do that. The reason they used to do the iOS roadmaps was because they had to get developers to do the App Store. They had to show new APIs, and they couldn't do that without a new phone. They sell Mac OS separate from the devices, so they can just be like, "Here's a new version of Mac OS."
Yeah.
Start developing for it. I don't think they'll do it. I think whatever they show WWDC will just be whatever.
All right, and number 1.
Number 1 was, I really hope they do this, native turn-by-turn navigation with the rumored maps that they're going to do themselves.
I feel pretty confident.
I think they'll do. I think if they don't do native turn by turn, I'd be pretty surprised. But I could see them not doing it. I feel like they could almost bake that into Siri somehow.
Oh yeah,
you know, like Siri could be the voice of the turn by turn, and she could somehow, it could be like, Siri, navigate me to X, and like it would just jump you into their map thing, because that would be amazing.
Yeah,
if you could say to Siri, like, navigate me to a specific address, and then she immediately, it's one step, and you don't have to look at the phone, and you're navigating. That would be really great. I mean, she already does that.
To be honest, that's the best thing I loved about Android.
Yeah, the native turn by turn.
I mean,
I was in
Android.
Yeah, I was in LA all last week, and I used it because I was driving everywhere constantly. I mean, everywhere I went, I was using it. All right, cool.
And the best part about it is you don't have to have an address.
That's right. That's right.
You
All
can
right.
just say, navigate to Target in this area.
Damn it, man, we got to move on. Thank you so much for calling in. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. All right, we got one more here. Hello, WWDC predictions. What's your name and what do you hope to see?
My name is Graham. My predictions are
that along with the normal stuff like iOS 6 and Mountain Lion, I think we're going to see Siri API. We'll probably see
Siri
Apple
API.
TV SDK.
Hold on, Siri API could be huge. I mean, if they do it the right way, that could open up a whole new world of functionality.
The question is, for me, the question on the Siri API is, does it always work with the third-party apps, or do you have to open the third-party app?
Yeah.
Right, because then you run into a question where you have maybe competing apps trying to do the same services. So if you have the built-in, I mean that's
true.
like if you have two Twitter clients,
That
like,
is a
tweet
tricky.
this,
That is
like,
a tricky.
You've got to know.
Well, but the way they do with notifications, they assign. They say, do this notification for this app. Maybe they.
yeah, but that's per app. I mean, that's like.
I think that
But they'll have like a Siri setting.
each app will have a keyword.
Yeah. Well, you think it'll be like, you'll say Siri, Twitter, tweet this message or something. But you have to say,
but that goes far away from the natural language kind of.
Well, not really.
Siri.
How
you say
about
tweet?
Well, you could do say. So maybe it'll be like, Siri, you press it down, and then it's like Twitter, say, man, it's really hot outside.
Yeah.
And then it's like it hears Twitter and say, and it knows that's what you want to say something on Twitter. That to me is pretty natural. No,
it is. It adds one layer of management, and Apple's typically very reticent to add that layer of management.
Well, I think that if you want to do it with apps, you say Foursquare, check in here.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
But what you really want to say is check in.
Well, what you really want to say is I'm at Starbucks, and it just
or for the phone to just know where you are and
yeah.
constantly be following you.
Actually, so to that point, maybe you'll say I'm at Starbucks, and Siri will say, "Do you want to check in on Foursquare?"
That's not bad.
I think you just.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That's too many interactions. I think you want to.
Is it?
Yeah, because it should know where you are.
I said where I am, and then I say yes.
No, but it should. You don't have to.
John
tell it
Malkovich wouldn't mind.
You don't have to tell it where you are. Right, because the phone knows where you are.
Geofences.
You can, yeah. I mean,
she sets up a geofence
what you should
around
really
you.
be able to say is check in. You just hold you.
All right, caller.
See, it's hard.
Caller, what else?
In 10 minutes, I'm taking us into the weeds.
Besides the APIs, what are you thinking?
2
what
minutes.
else?
I think they'll open up an Apple TV SDK, which will enable Bluetooth 4.0 and allow an app to be a secondary screen for. There won't be apps on the TV itself because there's only 8 gigabytes on an Apple TV, but the iPad itself will be a secondary screen like smart glass.
Interesting. Could happen.
Over Bluetooth, you think?
Well, they could do it. There's no Bluetooth in the new Apple TV, is there?
I don't believe so.
There is. It's Bluetooth 4. It's disabled.
It's disabled.
It's disabled. Okay.
That's That's bizarre.
Yeah.
It was disabled in the iPod Touch for a long time too.
It's because why? It's because it's basically the same SoC as
they just put it in there
as the iPhone.
They're like, "Do we have any leftover stuff?"
You're like, "Yeah, throw it in the Apple TV." All right. What else? Anything else? Any other ideas?
No, just the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro 15-inch should probably get a redesign.
You think
so?
The
13-inch.
Here's what I want.
I think
Here's what I really want.
Display.
I want black aluminum, matte black aluminum,
Like the old MacBook
Black
from
aluminum.
a couple years ago.
like the old MacBook,
Yeah.
but that material.
Black aluminum.
Black aluminum.
Yeah.
It's a good album title. All right, caller. Thank you for calling in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. You want to wrap up these last two stories very quickly? Well, it's hard to wrap up WebOS quickly.
It's hard to be. I
and
want to see if this guy responded to
my
me.
bad,
We're having
Ursa.
like a good back and forth here.
Good. The Josh Topolsky Twitter moment.
Nothing.
Twitter minute.
Somebody wants us to talk about Apple ditching Google Maps and iOS 6.
They're gonna do it. I mean, who didn't?
Here's
know
the
they
thing,
were
though.
gonna do it?
Don't all third-party apps have hooks into Google Maps right now?
No, they have hooks into the core Maps API. I mean, Apple builds itself.
No. But they hook into.
They hook into Maps on iOS. The back end of Maps is Google Maps.
Aren't they? But they're specifically using like Foursquare, not Foursquare, because they're actually using something else now, aren't they? Aren't they specifically using Google Maps for things like things
Some
that
apps
Google
do,
Maps does?
But there is a Maps
and that's been the
API
standard
in the OS.
Mm-hmm.
So when you write an iPhone app, you write get a map, and then the OS delivers you a map.
Interesting.
And you say put this stuff on this map, and the OS figures it out.
But it doesn't have. But that has to have. So all those anything that map app or map API is doing right now hooks into Google. You're saying like
there's one layer of abstraction.
They can just reassign those actions.
Yeah.
Right.
And there might be some tweak. I mean, obviously everything will map perfectly, but that's the idea.
Right. Everybody will have to change everybody will have to update their app to work with this new Unless
No,
they
I think the idea
unless
is
they
that you
keep
don't
Google-
have to update the map.
No, but I think that I
But
feel like
app-
it's going to present problems. I think there are very specific use cases. I feel like what they'll have to do is give developers an option.
I think, sure, but I think at the system level, if you're just using the system maps API,
Yeah.
the iOS API, it'll be seamless. If you're going beyond that
think-
functionality and hooking into Google, it won't be.
Do you
I think
think
that's
so?
pretty
Do you
much
think
probably
that then Google
simplest way
will
for it to be.
release a full Google Maps app for the?
Oh yeah, without question. They had that event. And they said this is all coming to every
Do
platform.
you think that Apple will allow other apps to be assigned to handle specific functions
No,
on the iPhone?
I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll accept the map happily and say that we provide the service.
Interesting.
It's going to be very. I mean, that's
What
that-
what else do you think is coming?
So I really don't think they're going to do any TV stuff. I think they're
I
gonna,
don't. I actually
really am.
We were just
almost
talking about this in the
100%
car
confident
over
they're
here.
not gonna do it.
I feel like they just did TVs with the iPad, with the new iPad. I feel like this is going to be focused on. Well, they've already shown Mountain Lion. You know, we already looked at it, and
They're going to show it again.
They previewed it. I think they're going to have a much more advanced preview.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, without question.
And then I have to assume they're going to do iOS.
Yep.
So this is going to be, laptops and mobile, and they're not even going to do they're not going to show everything. Let's say the new iPhone has a slightly larger screen. They can't exactly go now you have room for this.
Yeah.
How could they, if that area is to be used for something more than just extra real estate, which I assume they're not just putting it in there to make another row of icons.
Right.
They can't show what that does yet.
Nope. They'll
They
do that
can't-
with the phone.
They'll do it with the phone, which is crazy. But here's my guess. I think I figured it out. I think that area is going to be a static widget / notification area.
Right.
And that there won't be any interaction with. I think essentially your iPhone screen is going to stay exactly the way it's always been for interaction, except when you go into full screen apps, which will do the full 16:9.
Right.
But
and that,
for
that actually really lets them solve the problem because the thing is you don't want to, because it lets them put out the phone and make use of the extra space. Apps stay preserved the way they are.
Yeah.
And then when the apps get updated, they can take away the widget.
The question will be can they do notifications in that manner? Because notifications are still somewhat intrusive on iOS. We've talked about this a bunch. I think it makes sense. You could stick a widget there, right? You could have your weather widget up when you're all the time when you're looking at the screen, and you could swipe through that area to different widgets, right? Or different data or applications you may want to interact with. The question is would you swipe to notifications? Maybe it's a right swipe for one thing and a left swipe for something else.
Right.
How much room are we talking about? How many more pixels will that be up there? Do you know the number?
It's 130 something.
Yeah, I think that's
bet
right.
our chat would know, but the Wi-Fi is broken here.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good chunk of pixels.
Sorry, chat.
I just think
wanna
that
ask you.
I just think that I feel but they're not going to show that at. Do you think iOS?
Absolutely not.
Do you think iOS 6 will have any kind of a redesign?
It's 136 pixels.
Any kind of a redesign?
Thank you, chat.
Oh, good. Way to go, chat.
Do we think iOS 6 will have any kind of a
I think they'll
visual,
refresh
visual
a bunch.
redesign?
They will refresh a bunch of stuff. They almost have to. They can't not to.
Will everything be stitched leather?
Yeah. God, that's the worst.
Maybe they'll introduce themes.
No. Like old OS 9 themes?
Yeah.
No, the squiggly lines.
Yeah, you could do an all stitch leather theme.
No.
Or
I
a
don't think that will
steel,
ever happen.
blue steel.
I think they'll just do what they do with Mac OS 10. They'll just keep refining it into various directions. Now everything's a square.
Right.
Yeah,
I wonder if there'll be any notable. we talked about this last time, I think, but I heard a lot of people in the industry, they were like, boy, I'm really tired of iOS. It looks really dated to me.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
But wait
people
till
who have iPhones.
Wait till everything's a square.
That's true.
That's like Apple's move.
You think they'll take off the rounded edges on the icons?
Yeah, they'll just that they do it with OS 10 all the time.
I'd be into that.
Old.
I would. I actually don't think squares look that good like that, personally.
I'm saying I use
to get
Snow
them
Leopard on
flat.
this machine, and then I've been using my iMac which has Lion on it. And every time I come back to this one, which I think is more functional because I think Snow Leopard is more functional.
I
than
don't
Lion.
even remember what Snow Leopard's like.
I'm like, wow, this looks ancient, but it's not. It's just different.
Right.
Right. One thing's a little less glossy, and other things.
Just slight.
It's Apple's move. They're very good at it.
Slight tweaks.
So let's talk about WebOS real quick, and then
Okay.
maybe we can.
David, you don't have any predictions about WWDC?
I
Dub.
really don't.
No, nothing.
Dub.
You don't have anything to say about it?
No, I think
pressure.
Siri is the one I'm less convinced is going to be a huge part of everything.
I don't know. Tim Cook basically alluded to Siri stuff coming.
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be some stuff, but Siri and the iPad is the one thing I'm really curious about because Siri basically becomes functionally useless when you're offline, And the offline use case for your iPad is much higher than with your iPhone. And so I don't think they'd want to have this like horribly broken feature on your iPad.
Well, about what they might do is if you're offline, it just says Siri's not available offline.
Right, but that's kind of a crappy experience then, because like they're promoting Siri like crazy, but then 60% of the time
there are crappy experiences all over iOS.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not
and
like
Siri itself is almost always a crappy experience. Well, I use Siri
unless you're
consistently for
Samuel L.
one
Jackson.
thing.
I mean, I'm just saying that that like all modern mobile operating systems, there are wonderful transcendent experiences, and then there are ones that just seem a little bit broken.
Sure,
and that's so there may be things like the notifications which really aren't quite there.
No, but with Siri in particular, they already have such an air of this kind of works.
Yeah,
adding on one huge piece of this doesn't work in all these places that you use your iPad.
Yeah.
I mean, I play this game every time. Every time I want to make a phone call to one of the 8 people on my favorites list, I always try to use Siri.
Yeah.
And then I wait for it. And I'm like, why am I asking AT&T to figure this out?
We got to wrap up. Let's talk about WebOS. Sorry. Okay. So we ran a huge piece this week. It's basically here's a screenshot, pre to postmortem, the inside story of the death of Palm and WebOS. And this is, we conducted tons of interviews.
Yeah.
I did, Chris did, Dieter did, and they wrote the bulk of this. I really didn't touch any of it. This piece, which is just basically telling us the story of what the hell happened with Palm. What happened from, before the launch of the pre, from the development of WebOS to where it is now, which is like basically dead in the water.
Yeah.
At HP, the entire team is broken apart.
Gone to Google.
A lot of them went to Google. A lot of them have gone elsewhere, and they're not making any WebOS-based products at HP. And they've opened WebOS up as an open source piece of software, which I don't think has gained a ton of traction. And it's for all intents and purposes right now is dead. And how did they get there? And it's a fascinating. If you haven't read it, like take 15 minutes, 20 minutes out of your day, sit down, because it really doesn't take that long to read. You'd be surprised what you can get done in just a short few minutes. Sit down and read the thing. It is a fascinating look, and I think one of the best things we've ever published.
I mean, I have to say, again, I mean, it's great, but the driving thing that I got out of it was American wireless carriers killed Palm.
Oh no, they definitely did.
Like, without question.
When you hear, and by the way, this is like from the horse's mouth. Like, we talked to people who really knew. This isn't speculation. This isn't, he said, she said. So this is like people who were there at the time, who know what happened, are basically like, yeah, Verizon killed the pre.
Yeah.
They used the pre as leverage to get a deal with Google. Like, it was their choice on how many to buy, on how they would sell them, and whether the people in the retail stores knew how to sell them. And you couldn't go get them anywhere else.
Right.
Going with Sprint hurt them. They wanted to go with Verizon originally because there's only there's only two big carriers in America.
But all of and
if you don't get a device, right? If you put a device out on Sprint or T-Mobile, it's not going to be a big success.
Right.
You're not going to have a big hit. You need to put it on one of the two big monopolies. And it also, not only does it need to be on that carrier,
they need to support it.
They need to sell it and advertise around it and want to support you.
Right.
It's crazy.
I mean, that to me is.
It's like if you wanted to buy a car, and there were these big warehouses where you could get cars, and they would only like push one kind of car. Like, can you imagine buying a car where it had to be supported by this? I mean, it's just crazy. That's a bad analogy, but it's just crazy. Car's a bad analogy. I can't think of it's a monopoly. It's a monopoly that needs to be crushed.
Yeah.
Hello?
I'm
You're
just
busy reading your email.
The other thing that really struck me
true.
about this was just made me remember how awesome the pre was when it came out and how excited everybody was. Because it kind of gets lost now, but like
Really?
I've never wanted a phone as much as I wanted the pre, and I know you agree with that. But
I mean, you don't know. I mean, you weren't part of our team at the time, unfortunately for us.
You were just a baby.
You were like 5
I was
years old.
3
You were
years old.
literally 3.
Yeah.
But that was an event that, first off, it came out of the blue. We knew that Palm was doing something there. It was such a surprise what they showed. And I know that Laura told me this story. I think it was Laura that told me this story. How people were like in our trailer at CES, like screaming. Like, you were there, right? Were you in the trailer?
Yeah. No,
People were like freaking out over it. That was a crazy moment. They really did something impressive, and they really had a product that look, they made a lot of mistakes. And it wasn't just Verizon, because there were other things that happened. They had internal conflict, I think, early on that had repercussions. And And there's this guy Paul Mercer who's talked about who had essentially like the thing that they didn't use as the basis of the OS, who had been working on it at Palm, and at some point they decided to switch over to WebOS, which was this more HTML5 based, much smarter, much more forward thinking than what they had been working on previously.
Yeah.
Which somebody told us in that OS, it took 5 lines of code to center text in something, which is really crazy. But they had to move away from this thing that they had built, that they thought they were moving towards. And that caused a lot of conflict and a lot of, I think, trouble early on in this process. But seriously, you got to read the story. You should just read it. Like, you don't want to hear me talk about it. But it's depressing. But it also ends on kind of a hopeful note, which is
24-hour party people.
The 24-hour
let 1,000 haciendas bloom.
Yeah, let 1,000 WebOSs bloom. And I do think, like, you do see now already.
I mean, can I just say?
I mean, some of the guys went to Apple right there. Didn't the notification guy go to Apple?
No, that was a jailbreak guy.
No,
the other one. Yeah.
I think the notification
one
guy
of those
did.
guys did. And then obviously Matthias went to Google.
Matthias went to Google, and you'll see, all this stuff.
Another
like,
huge
already.
big chunk of people.
In fact, you see like the notification dude. What is his name? I can't think of his name. Pretty sure he went to Apple, and like 6 months later, notifications changed on the iPhone. And I'm not saying it's just a 1-2 step like this, but Matthias went to Google, and 6 months later, suddenly like the UI is a lot better and a lot more beautiful.
This picture is amazing.
Here's some of the graphics we've done.
Some really excellent cropping around a lot of hair in this photo.
James, our designer, spent a lot of time on this.
And every time I see this picture of John Rubenstein just like sadly walking down a street,
where's
just a little further down.
Scroll down a little bit.
God, the thing is such a
that way. Yeah, it's so good.
Why'd you do this to me, HP? That's my.
HP blew it in one way, but
we've been on the air for like 3 hours now.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up. Sorry, I know you're enjoying this, but I have to eat. Okay. And sleep.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
And I have to take down the American
I'm just, by the way, I'm so tired right now. I came back from, I don't want to complain, it's champagne problems. But, I came back from D and E3, and now I'm going back out to WWDC on Sunday. And then we have Google I/O. There's a big Microsoft is doing a Windows Phone event this month. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You know what? There's
crazy.
12 months in the year.
Yeah.
You don't all have to do your stuff in June. All right. That's it. That's the Vergecast this week. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can email us at vergecast@theverge.com. You can find us on Twitter. It's @Verge. Or we also have Twitter accounts. I'm Joshua Topolsky. Nilay is Reckless. David Pierce is Pierce David, which is, annoying.
It's the worst. I'm sorry.
Chris Grant is Chris Grant, I believe.
Yeah.
Paul is not on the internet, so don't even bother.
What are you doing?
And was there anybody else I'm missing? No. Okay. That's our show for this week. We'll be back next week with more delicious, tasty morsels of information. And until then, I wish your family the very best, and I'm sure I won't see them anytime soon. Just your family. For you, don't even care. And rock and roll is what I want to say.
Polygon.
Polygon.